Every shifter's story is part of a bigger journey. Aloha, shifters, conscious co-creators, dreamers, lovers, light guardians, light workers, all you awesome people within this holographic matrix throughout the world, throughout the dream, throughout the internets. Thank you so much for tuning in to another very special, very exciting live broadcast here through ParadigmShiftCentral.com. Tonight's broadcast, this broadcast right now, is a very, very special broadcast. This is going to be another one of our Paradigm Shift community admin meeting broadcasts. And of course, I am joined by some fellow amazing shifters. So fellow amazing shifters, if I can get you guys to unmute your microphones and say hello to the beautiful people of the internet by making all sorts of crazy animal noises and showing some love. Let's make some noise. You guys are awesome. Nice, guys. Heard some cats in there, heard some dogs in there. It was a good mix. Sweet, guys. All right, so just as a quick introduction to what it is that we are doing here, and then we're going to get into some introductions from some of the individual shifters who are joining us here in the circle. Just as an introduction again, for those of you who may be new to this project, ParadigmShiftCentral.com is the main website that you can check out, and it is a real-world interactive game to help shift consciousness. And basically, this project has been ongoing. This project has been evolving since about 2011. And one of the core aspects of it is about helping create physical paradigm shift communities across the globe to be able to help bring community together and to be able to help assist and accelerate the shift in consciousness. So there's paradigm shift communities all across the globe right now. And I myself am a part of Paradigm Shift London, Ontario, Canada. And the very first paradigm shift community started as a single club in my college with me basically asking the question of how can I help change the world? And one of the ways that I knew how to do it was by simply creating a place to bring people together. And that place was to be able to practice talking about metaphysics, spirituality, Sasquatch, UFOs, anything and really everything related to the things that we don't normally get a chance to talk about, yet also related to the bigger shift in consciousness. So now as this project's evolved into a global network, what it is that we're doing within this broadcast as a community admins meeting, we are getting to talk and focus specifically around the logistics and the work and the excitement and the story involved with helping bring consciousness to our communities, to our local communities, or to wherever it is that we are. So in this broadcast, you're going to get to hear from people who may be brand new to this project. You're going to get to hear from people who are veterans of this project, who have been building paradigm shift communities for a while. And again, people who are at different stages, and even people who are, again, like we're also focusing on aspects of hacking the matrix with love. That is what we refer to as shiftivism, doing things like free hugs, giving out shift buttons, planting seeds, and really just kind of brainstorming the little ways that can make the big difference in terms of helping shift consciousness. So again, just as a quick introduction for myself, as I said, my name is Brendon. I'm the admin for Paradigm Shift London, Ontario, Canada. We've been doing our meetings for quite some time at different locations. I'll share more about the specifics in terms of like what it is that we got going on right now. We're actually kind of in between meeting locations, and that's like something that I can talk about in terms of logistics. Within this broadcast, I'll also give you guys some basic logistics on like how to create a paradigm shift community where you are, because that's like a big thing, again, that we want to encourage people. It really only takes one person. And the very simple idea, and again, if you want more details on this, go to the main website, either check out past admin meetings or go to the tools, or sorry, the learning modules, and look under the Start a Community Guide. And the basic idea is that if you build it, they will come. So finding a location to have your meetings, setting a time, referring to it as an open-minded discussion and meditation circle is kind of the recommended tactic, and then inviting people to come out. And then the ways how you connect with people are through doing things like free hugs, using shift buttons, going to community events, all these little tactics that definitely add up. And then through there, you're building the tribe, you're creating community, and you're literally like helping accelerate collective growth. You're helping initiate collective growth through that mirroring process of sharing knowledge with other people and just being able to be there to support each other as community. So community is such an important thing. And again, I'm super excited to be able to have all of you guys here tuned in. And as always, this is going to be another educational and inspirational broadcast. So with that said, like I said, I'll update you more on the specifics of what I've been up to, just as a quick info, and then we're going to pass it to Monica, actually. I've been actually engaging in free hugs by sort of shifting it into a whole nother level by introducing pretty much my own version of a real world superhero into the game. And so that is the introduction of Mystic Spider-Man. And some of you will see my posts about this, but basically it's like my own version of Spider-Man. And I've been going out there, and I went out there and I did free hugs on Halloween as Spider-Man. And then people are just like, yo, Spider-Man. So it's like getting across two things. Like, A, it's like doing free hugs, and when we do free hugs, we hand out the shift buttons, which have the website, which connect people to the project. And it's also sort of creating this image of like a superhero giving free hugs. And then whenever I give free hugs to people, I tell them, I'm like, remember, like, you're the real hero. Like, the real power is right here. So like, it's good to be able to like leave an impression with people. And the real story continues once I go back and continue doing free hugs as Spider-Man, as Mystic Spider-Man, which is the version I've created, beyond Halloween, which is something that I'm doing. So again, that's part of my story, and I'll talk more about that later, but that's part of what I'm doing to help shift consciousness, is literally being Mystic Spider-Man and going out there and doing free hugs and connecting with people and helping bring honest, like hope and love into this world. Like, what happens when people start seeing Spider-Man around town, and then word starts to spread? It like creates a story, but there's more to that. It's more to that story, and that story is generated and powered by the story of love. So we're going to pass it over to Monica. And before we just get Monica talking, just as a quick thing that we're actually going to be talking about within this broadcast specifically, relative to the bigger story of our shift in consciousness that's happening right now, is also regarding like community events associated to the access pipeline, the North Dakota access pipeline, the No DAPL. So Monica is someone who's actually like already been to some events where she is. And so I'm in Canada, but a lot of shifters are in the States. We got people all over the place, but this is a big issue. And it's something that we can talk about in general. But I know she, along with other people, are kind of like moving towards being interested in helping facilitate events to be able to support this initiative that's happening, which again is a very big microcosm of the macrocosm in terms of the shift in consciousness. And again, super straightforward. They're trying to build a pipeline. It's crossing through the native lands, and they're basically trying to stop it symbolically, yet also legitimately and logistically, to be able to help prevent clean water. So it's like us standing up against corporate greed and saying that, you know, we want love, and supporting the future of this earth, and saying no more to, you know, like useless destruction and greed and all that stuff. So I'm going to pass over to Monica, and Monica is one of the admins with Paradigm Shift Chicago. And with that said, Monica, please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you've been up to and some of your intentions for the future that you got going on. So welcome, Monica. It's good to see you again.
Hello. Hi, everyone. So thank you, Brendon. That was very beautifully introduced. Like Brendon said, I am from the Chicagoland community. I started working on Paradigm Shift Chicago, gosh, I think like 4 years ago now, which is kind of bananas. And, you know, there's been a lot of things happening and not happening with it in the recent past. But what's important is that I recently reconnected with one of my fellow organizers in the community by a wonderful synchronicity. We were both sort of being called to what's happening in Standing Rock in North Dakota, and I swear it was like at the same time we messaged each other and we're like, okay, what are we doing about this? How can we do something? How can we organize around this? And then I'd say it was like 30 minutes later, there was this national urgent conference call coming from North Dakota that included individuals who were on the ground that were asking to take action. It was a call to action. So I have some of those resources here with me to share. But other than that, what I've been involved in this past year has been kind of crazy. It's been really wild. And I've gone through 8 different jobs. And so I went to school for psychology, and so I've been working in the mental health field now for the last year. But those other jobs were like bringing me to where I am now. So I'm working in a mental health clinic, and it's also something that I'm very passionate about and that I like to advocate for. And also one of the reasons why paradigm shift community spaces are super important. They're one of the first group environments where I was able to facilitate meditation circles and discussions. And I feel that an authentic space like that can facilitate so much growth and bring people together and really bring them out of a funk, especially during these times where so much is up in the air, so much is happening. I mean, the elections in the states are just mind-boggling and can really bring people down, especially, you know, the police state in the United States and all the social activism that's happening. There's just a lot going on that can really bring you down, and finding your people to bring you up again and to remind you that you're not alone is very important. So I think that I'll leave it at that for right now. Thank you.
Cool. Sounds good, Monica. And yeah, it's great to hear, just like from your own words, like the difference that you've seen paradigm shift community meetups make, not just for other people, but also for yourself, like learning to sort of step into that like facilitator leader role, which now I think like, you know, years later, since you've been involved for a few years, suddenly you're just like, okay, like the world needs to organize events, in this case for Standing Rock, and you, along with like your friends, are like able to kind of be there to hear and answer the call. So
yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. Cool. Okay.
Contributing factor to paradigm shift, seriously. Like, got me, okay, I need to do something. I love all these things. I'm interested in all this stuff. Let me get out there and start talking to people. Like, it really was an amazing catalyst.
Awesome. And again, you know, like that simple story is helping other people to sort of, because that's as we continue with the introductions, we're going to pass it around to somebody who's next. But again, like that's part of the story that we're trying to share with people here, is to let them see that there is a global team here. So for them to be like, whoa, okay, there's other people helping create community. There's other people going out there and helping initiate and plant conscious seeds. Like that's going to inspire me to do it too. And it's that idea of like the shared collective, like inspiration of the team is like something that inspires all of us. So, you know, like I'll share my story and then Monica shares her story, and then that inspires someone to like create their own story, and then they come back and they share their story next broadcast. And so again, for people watching this, like you guys are more than welcome to join these broadcasts, as well as encouraging you to help create conscious community events where you are. Whether you're calling them paradigm shift community events or otherwise, it's totally up to you. But through the synchronization of the team, there is sort of like that additional layer of the story, which is very exciting. So sweet. Okay. Monica, do you just maybe want to just say, like, just in a short answer, what is like your, because you kind of already answered this, what is like your like intention for the like next week in a sense, like even with like kind of like the precedence of what's happening right now?
Oh goodness. It's going to be a wild week. I don't even know where to begin. Like, I don't know how much of my personal life I should share. But in the next week or so, there are going to be multiple events around No Dapple. So rallies and dances and poster making parties that I'm going to be involved in, and my partner and I from Paradigm Shift Chicago, we're organizing a way to pass out information about No Dapple while also doing free hugs. Free hugs is so powerful and awesome and so much fun, and I swear it'll lift your heart up to like 1,000,000 stories high, I swear. So, and it's also, I think it's really powerful in spaces where they're really difficult. Like, for example, if you're at a Black Lives Matters march or something where it's like really heavy, free hugs can come in and lighten things up and connect people at the heart, and just remind us that we're all connected. So yeah, I think those are my intentions for right now, and then eventually building up mindful groups once again to bring people together to do meditations and such. So
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. And again, we'll talk more about like the No Dapple, the Standing Rock stuff as we kind of go and everything. But you're right though. Like one of the ways that we can help is simply by raising awareness of it. As simple as that sounds, a lot of people don't really know about that. So that's where like we got to be the branches for that story. And like you said, if you're doing like free hugs and letting people know about it, or like, I mean, this is where you start getting into like the activism and the intentions of activism is to like wake people up, to get their attention. And sometimes it literally means like standing like on a street corner with like a sign that is going to like get their attention that they're going to look at, sort of thing. So yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, we'll talk more about that, because I know there's actually going to be there is the idea of like an organized event happening on November 15th. Like they're trying to organize some like global events and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll bounce around with that. But again, like this story, along with other stories, is part of like where us as shifters can kind of step in and be of assistance locally and as part of the bigger story. So Monica, good to hear from you. Thumbs up, gold star. You're doing awesome. You're doing great.
You too.
Thanks. Okay, so we'll pass it around, and we'll hear from Monica for as long as she's in here. She may have to leave at some point, but that's totally cool. And in the meantime, I just want to be able to invite whoever else would like to introduce themselves next. So please feel free to introduce themselves. And again, even if you are literally kind of brand new in terms of like wanting to create community space or anything like that, you guys, either way, just feel free to introduce yourself and share a little bit of either your experiences or your intentions as well. So if somebody just wants to click the unmute button on their mic, and then I'll know who wants to jump in next. So we'll let Anne go next. Okay, so Anne, welcome to the community admin meeting hangout, and please feel free to introduce yourself. You can say who you are, where you're from, and anything you want to introduce to us relative to like community involvement and intentions that you might have as well. So go ahead. And let me just check the volume. Okay, you're good.
I'm good. All right, cool. Thank you so much, Brendon. And I honor you, and I'm so grateful for you. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this shift that's going on in the world right now, that's going on in the planet. So with that, my name is Ann Jones, and I am here in St. George, Utah. And there, probably a couple years ago, when I noticed a disintegration of spiritual community, I recognized that there is an insane need of some type of community, if you will. And it took a little bit of time, and to be perfectly honest, there was an aspect of synchronicity with Paradigm Shift Central in particular that kind of guided and led me to be inspired and feel empowered to start things like meditations, things like community yoga, things like ecstatic dance. So I'm utilizing a space of a friend of mine's called Awakened Soul to do things like that. And it's just barely beginning. And I still feel very, very excited about that. And my intention is creation itself. And through this particular space and through these events, I have ordered these packets of buttons and free hug signs that I'm passing out to people, and the word's getting out, and it's just been amazing. It's just been really, 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 really amazing. And I'm continually feeling guided to and inspired to keep doing what it is I'm doing.
Awesome. That sounds really cool, Anne. And just out of curiosity, like back, like maybe when you were younger and things like that, was like the consciousness shift like kind of on your radar? Like, did you see yourself like getting involved with community events back then, or is this like even kind of a recent thing for you? I'm just curious, just to get to know you.
Yeah, so I don't know if you mean like younger, but I can share a story. When I was about 7 or 8 years old, I was raised in a very, very religious, rigid setting, and I can remember having a moment one evening, and I was kind of almost woken from a dream, if you will, and I went and woke up my mother, and the only thing I said to her was, "What about everybody else? What about everybody else?" And that was kind of like, I always refer to that as my awakening and remembering moment, that we're all interconnected. My big symbol right now, and the one that I wear around my neck all the time, is the flower of life, that we are all connected somehow, some way, in some beautiful, amazing way. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of the story that I share with people and that I go with.
Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, that I like that story. In like, I was just kind of curious, like in terms of like facilitating community events, like if you've had past experiences with that in particular, or is this something newish?
Yeah, this is definitely something newish. And to be perfectly honest, I was very uncomfortable with it initially. And if it weren't for calling upon angels and spirit guides to help facilitate that particular uncomfortableness of it all, I don't think I would have been able to do it. But I'm doing it, and it feels really, really great. And it feels not only comfortable, but necessary. And what's so cool about it is it's happening. People are showing up time and time and time and time and time again, day after day, week after week, week after week, whatever event, whatever it is that we hold space for, people are showing up, and it's beautiful. It's amazing, really.
That's really, really cool. And can you tell us, like, in particular, what some of the events have been? Like you mentioned, you're doing meditations and stuff. If there's any info to share on that.
Sure. So the very first one that we held, we termed vibration meditation. So I have a friend of mine who plays the handpan drum. I don't know if any of you know what that is, but it's a pretty cool instrument. So what we did was we just used breath or pranayama itself, and then he used the instrument to kind of guide us into a meditative state, if you will, like a theta, delta wave-like state. And there was like 50 people that showed up, and this was the first event that we had. I mean, it honestly brought me to tears. It was beautiful. So things like that.
That's really awesome. And again, you know, like it's one of those things where, like, I feel that people are looking for events like these.
Yeah.
Even if you don't already like have that community circle of people who are quote unquote like consciously aware or awakening and stuff like that, this is how you find them. You know, you send off a flare, you put up a flag, like you just say, this is where we are. Come meet us. And synchronicity kind of allows like that process to like bring people together. So 50 people, that's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear.
It's really super rad. So again, I thank you so much, Brendon. I honor you, and I honor your guidance, I guess.
Awesome. Well, again, you know, like with this project, one thing that I really like to bring it back to is the idea of captains amongst captains. So thank you as well for again, like being the person that helps like connect more people and stuff as well. And that's the ripple effect. Can you just this will be one more thing and then we'll pass it over. What's the next event that you have planned, if you do have one planned?
So the next event we have planned is actually tomorrow evening. We are doing a facilitated cave meditation with angelic guides.
Is that something someone else is facilitating, or are you
Somebody else is facilitating it. Somebody else is facilitating the actual angelic guidance, but we're doing it here in southern Utah, which I've always felt has a lot of sacred vortex-like energy involved with it. And there's a lot of people that are showing up and are very excited about it. So that's what we're doing tomorrow evening.
That's awesome. And I just one thing, because I'm curious, like Utah, I'm not entirely familiar with every single state and everything like that, but I imagine like different states kind of have like different sort of culture and everything like that. Overall, I'm just curious, like how do you notice like the shift within Utah? Like, is it something that is like starting to make its way up to the surface, or has there sort of been like kind of like, I'm not familiar with what the culture is like in Utah. Because I mean, you ask some people and they'll say like, oh, you know, like people are like quote unquote really close-minded here. But Utah obviously has like a conscious community kind of like there in it. Is it starting to rise to the surface then?
Yes, I do believe it is. And what I find so interesting about, so I don't know if you've ever heard of the term of LDS, which stands for Latter-day Saints, or AKA Mormons. That's the majority of the religious culture here in Utah. What I found and what is so cool about that particular religious culture is there's a lot of metaphysical aspects to it that they are not particularly heart-centered or maybe comfortable with per se, but it's there and they're becoming more comfortable with it. So they're more in tune with things like energetic healings or cave meditations or things of that nature. So it's happening and it's cool and it's neat. It's really, really neat.
That's cool. That's cool. That's right. Yeah, the Utah is where the Mormons are. That's right. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool though, because again, like I think this is like kind of something that you can talk about on the side, but like as you get into the shift, a big part of it is like kind of like opening invitations up to people of like previous, like like from their own perspectives, whether it be through faith, whether it be like their particular religion. That's kind of the beauty of it, is that like through these type of events, it's they aren't events where we're like showing up, where people are showing up and we're kind of saying like, this is what we want you to believe, but rather it's just like encouraging them to think for themselves, giving them a space to be open. And I think that's the beauty of it, is when you give people that space to think for themselves, they can do it. They can, that's where like they get to listen to the inner voice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool. I would be interested in meeting some Mormons, given the chance, and be able to talk to them and hear a little bit about their perspective and,
awesome.
and see where things cross over. And
Cool.
Awesome. Well, Anne, is there any other message that you might just want to share for the people out there who are maybe sort of like starting to feel the pull towards helping facilitate community events where they are?
I'm kind of feeling where I think when you posted today on Facebook, there are definitely moments of lapse or tiredness or delay. Just keep going. Just keep going. The planet and the earth and we as people, especially people like this, we need each other and we need to keep going. That's so incredibly important.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Anne, thank you so much. And I look forward to just like getting to know each other and getting to brainstorm some more. And thank you so much for holding space.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. And sweet. So with that, guys, we'll keep bouncing around. And and yeah, like as Anne was saying, as we were saying, like a big thing that even for myself that motivates me, that keeps me going, is kind of this idea that with what we're doing in terms of like shifting consciousness, in terms of like being the universe awakening itself up, like it's one of those things where the universe wants this to happen. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is when you go out there and you create an event, like the universe will work kind of in the background to be able to assist you, like it will make sure that the certain people see it at the right time and show up. This is where you get into the synchronicities of it. So it's a really, really exciting thing to kind of know, and this is something I've talked about before, that you're already connected to the people in your community before you even meet them. So kind of perceive things from a non-linear perspective. If you're thinking about creating a paradigm shift community or just some sort of conscious event, look in your mind and see that it is already there. Know that it is already there. And then just sort of allow yourself to flow through the processes of the steps involved with like showing up at that point. And then again, like with those things, there may come, because every location's different in terms of creating a paradigm shift community, and you will run into times where you're going to feel resistance. It's one of those things where a paradigm shift community, what makes it work is perseverance and patience. So if you do a meeting 1 week, say literally just a meeting at a library or a park or a yoga studio, and you promote it and you say open-minded discussion, meditation, you invite people out, and maybe like only one person shows up, or maybe no one shows up, don't let that stop you from trying it again. Because again, like that, if anything, is kind of the test from the universe saying like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, let's test them. Let's really make sure. But your perseverance tells the universe that like, yes, I am doing this. And the reason why you're doing this, and this is what I encourage everyone to kind of meditate on, like meditate. Why are you doing this? What is like your like drive to doing this? The very simple answer I would say is just sort of like meditate on the bigger vision, on the vision. So don't get so caught up on like the immediate task of, say, like your objective isn't necessarily to like just create a meeting and succeed at that. Like your objective is to like serve the vision, and the vision is shifting consciousness, as big as that sounds. And then the steps along the way are the processes which involve like having the meetings and everything like that. So just perseverance and patience. It's like taking a plant and you kind of like grow it very slowly, and you grow it with your intention, and you grow it with your love, and you grow it with your attention. as well. So with that said, guys, we'll keep bouncing around. And again, if people are like listening to this broadcast and they're just like, yeah, you know, like I want to help create a paradigm shift community where we are, one of the simplest ways to get started is to go to the paradigmshiftcentral.com website. You can create your shifter profile there, sync up with the team, and then through the website you can also find under the learning modules the links for starting a community. And stay tuned, because there are ongoing updates happening with the website, such as the community index. I hope by this time next month, when we have our community admin meeting, we'll have things like far more up and running in terms of our community index. So we do have the global team map, but again, it's just not fully updated. But what you'll eventually see there is like the global interactive map with the communities list and so forth and so on. And in addition to that, you can also connect through the team and get involved with our team Slack chat, which is just another way that we communicate outside of these broadcasts. And we also have a 24/7 voice chat as well, which is basically like giving us a psychic tool. And Anne's got her free hug signs. Yeah. That's like a mini free hug sign. That's so cool. And it's like laminated too. Very cool. Very cool. Has that one, how many hugs has that one gotten so far, Anne? Has that one been working pretty good? Sorry, you're just on mute right now, Anne. I don't know if you want to.
A lot. It's gotten a lot for sure.
Nice. I like that idea. It's like a little like pocket size hug sign though. It's kind of cool. Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, with the, again, you know, like in terms of this project, we're helping create a global team of shifters. And one of the simple tactics for a shifter that I can encourage you guys to do is that I never go anywhere without a free hug sign and shift buttons on me. So like free hug signs in my backpack, shift buttons on my jacket or something, because you never know who you're going to run into. And then like they spark a conversation, they notice your button, you can give them a button and you can give them a free hug. And then like that in itself, that's you being available for the universe to sort of synchronistically spark those moments through you. And again, the shift happens one interaction at a time, one person at a time. So being there as a shifter means like being ready to sort of like jump into the universe to be there for those synchronistic moments, to create those synchronistic moments. So let's keep bouncing around some more, guys. And again, shout out to everyone tuned into this. If you guys want to share the show while we're still live, please feel free to do that. And shout out to people in the YouTube live chat as well. You guys are awesome. So we'll let someone else introduce themselves first. So basically just based on whoever wants to unmute themselves next, and that will tell me who would like to introduce themselves. And we do have some new faces here as well. So I'll give you guys a second to decide on who wants to unmute themselves. And looks like we got Ryan there. So cool. Okay, so we'll pass it over to Ryan. And just as a quick introduction, Ryan was involved with a broadcast that we did a couple weeks ago for a team building hangout. And he is a director, facilitator for a project called A Spiritual Hand, and is involved with also facilitating like ayahuasca retreats in Peru. So he has some insight on facilitating community, both online and through very particular events. So we'll get a chance to learn a little bit more about what Ryan's up to and any insight that he might have on creating conscious community. So Ryan, welcome back, and we'll pass the talking stick over to you.
Awesome, Brandon. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for having me. So let's see. Thank you for the introduction as well. Where do I want to start with this one today? I think I want to focus a little bit on possibly something that I struggled with that kind of brought me to spirituality, which I think brings a lot of people to spirituality. And if you're able to focus on any of these kind of branches of it, then you are able to connect with people and ultimately help people, which shifts the mindset, and that's particularly what we're looking for. And things like that for me, what brought it for me is I struggle with depression and things like anxiety, and, you know, even deeper is like maybe not a clear direction of where I wanted to go, but this immense feeling of knowing I needed to do something in this world. I needed to have a part in, you know, easing people of these pains and negative energies that can build up in us sometimes and cause, you know, us to kind of become unaligned. And if we are all individually working on ourselves and combating any negative energies at all, then we put ourselves in a prime position to learn and then teach others who are struggling with it themselves. So what we ultimately do is pass the torch on. As we heal ourselves, we help others around us. You know, it's you bring the darkness into the light. And as you do that, it's infectious. And, you know, as I started my project, originally just was a Facebook group, and I was literally doing the same thing Brendon is doing here. Is like, you're just trying to connect with people. You're trying to find like-minded individuals who process life the same way and see that there's a bigger thing to all of this, and we need to make this shift to continue succeeding as a society together, and with love instead of craziness. And you know, it seems we're leaning towards the craziness now, and I think that's why Brendon's project is absolutely amazing as well, because we want this shift as a community, as a spiritual community. We are looking to better ourselves and help each other better each other. You know, so it's a family of sort. And so to focus on those kind of things is a great way to build a community. So like I said, as I started out with a Facebook group, literally I had no idea that it would grow and would evolve into what it did. And it continues to evolve daily. And that's pretty cool. And I just wanted a safe place. And now it is manifested itself into a company, different legs of a company. And it's a beautiful thing. And so when you start something small, you focus on helping people and helping yourself. It's contagious. It spreads. And we can help this shift. We can help lean towards where we're heading, you know, and you know, it just kept happening. And that's the beautiful thing when you step out and you put yourself out there. You know, you do things like free hugs or hand out buttons or just talk to people on the street, because it's about love, it's about sharing. And once we recognize that as a whole society, things will change for the better. And you know, it literally snowballed into, I was in the middle of the jungle at one point, buying land and setting up this crazy center, and sharing ayahuasca with people, because it is a beautiful sacrament plant medicine that helps heal. And it's an incredible life journey to really go deep inside yourself. So, yeah, starting out with just a little tiny move, like something like that to help and share, can really grow. And I think even just the past few people who spoke and people who have spoken prior on this project, you can tell that it started with something small one way or another, and it snowballs into something big. And now they've got their own little chapter going on, and it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, that's you're right. Like it is like all great things start small. It's like actually a quote from Prometheus, but it proves the point, proves the idea. Cool, Ryan. That's good, man. What I'm just kind of curious. Like, do you have anything going on at the moment in terms of like local events? Is that something that you have time to do? Like, I know you're kind of like traveling and stuff like that, but is that something you like see yourself maybe doing as well, or have done? I'm just curiosity.
Yeah, totally. Great question. And I want to give out more information than I think I should right now, but I have some things in the mix, and a lot of interesting things coming around in the next couple of months, as far as possibilities of ayahuasca in America legally, with some DEA exemptions and some things like that. So I'm trying to work on a few things right now and see how that works out. And I'm also looking into other situations as well. So, ideally to go to Peru is ideal in those certain scenarios, but there is if we can find a way, there's also, I understand that a lot of people can't travel, and maybe passports, and it's a lot more difficult, and it would be great to be able to bring that to America and help serve that in our own country. So I hope that's something that can happen soon. I'm really, just waiting to see how that pans out.
Word, man. Word. Yeah, that's That's a very like big mission in itself, and I know like there have been other people as well who've been focusing on that, like ayahuasca churches within America, and I know there is one that's been up and running, which maybe you're already familiar with as well. And again, you know, like I think what's interesting about this is, you know, like with people listening to this, understand that what kind of makes this whole story unique is when people sort of start like finding something that they want to put their focus towards. So at the very base level, like you said, we encourage people to create open-minded discussion and meditation circles, because that's like very open. It's very like, it's not going to like stigmatize and like segregate people, because it's just kind of an open thing. But then from there, you start getting people who are like more interested in maybe like facilitating like sound healing ceremonies, people who are interested in like animal rights protests, people who are interested in like LGBT like rights, and you start to get into these like varieties of like social justice issues that people want to like help promote. Environmentalism, again, like the Standing Rock, and I think that's kind of like what you start to what we encourage people to start to do, is kind of like feel something that they kind of like want to be involved with, feel something that they like feel called to be a part of. And so like the Paradigm Shift community, it's kind of designed to be like a central hub to bring together like all of these ideas for people in your community. So if you want to like find other people in your community who are already involved with like activism, a Paradigm Shift community is kind of like that neutral ground where people can meet. And then from these meetings, the Paradigm Shift meetings, they can like go out and like go to other meetings and other events. And that's kind of like even what like Monica was talking about too, how there's like these parallel community events that are kind of happening. And a Paradigm Shift community event is kind of like a hub for the variety of like communities within like the bigger location of where you are. But yeah, that's really interesting to hear, Ryan. And like, I know that this is something that you've been working on for a while, and I think it is like a very interesting like story, the idea of like how to be able to bring ayahuasca to people in a way that is like respecting the plants, in a way that is like respecting like laws and culture and things like that. And it's one of those things where like, I think if it's going to be done, it needs to be done right. And again, I think like that's where like the patience definitely comes into play. So yeah, I'm sure like there's like a lot to like just like you doing that is even just like behind the scenes. So yeah, someone's got to do it. But yeah, like
it's mind-blowing. But I want it, if it's going to be done, it needs to be done right. It needs to be done proper. You need to have the correct shaman and these very critical tools that come with it. We don't take this as a joke. Some people, think it's, people go and they drink the stuff and they get all crazy, and that's not what it's about at all. And we would never support anything that's not sticking to traditional ways and the ceremonies, and we keep it's so that exactly, that we want to make sure that it comes out the way it's supposed to, and everything is safe and the way it should be for people joining these kinds of experiences. So, and it's it's a beautiful thing. It's it really shows you some serious enlightenment, and it lets you go deep within yourself and can even bring up things that you never knew existed within you. So it's very interesting. It's some very interesting stuff. So, and you said, you bet it's interesting, and I could tell you guys some stories for days, man. I have some pretty interesting YouTube videos. So I'll be around, and I'd love to share some stuff with you guys. So I appreciate the time, and thanks for having me here.
Awesome, man. Yeah, definitely. It is something that I am interested in, just being able to like talk and hear more about as well. So again, Brian, thumbs up. Thank you for doing that, and for shaking the hand through the internet. And again, for the people who are interested, who are tuning into this, I'll post a link into the YouTube as well, but you can check out Ryan's main website at aspiritualhand.com. And so like, if that is something that you're even looking into, then, like you can go to the website, you can contact Ryan there, get some more information. And in addition, there is also a Spiritual Hand Facebook group as well, which is in addition to being linked to the project, also a forum for like conscious community and discourse as well, and conversation as well. So you guys can just run a search on Spiritual Hand to get the Facebook group for that. And yeah, so again, like with like as we're kind of moving forward with things, one thing that I just kind of want to like hit across, and then we'll keep going around with introductions. And then as we kind of go through introductions, we're just going to get into just like free flow discussion. Because again, I want to give people a chance to talk about like what are some of the different ways that we can support Standing Rock from our end of things. But one of the things I was just going to say is that for me, when I was doing this project, and this is why I want to share this story real quick, and I was kind of like, okay, I really want to find people, and I really want to like bring people to community, because I know it's really at its core, it's this whole project at its core is really about like self-empowerment, and through self-empowerment comes global change. It is really the simple way of putting it, because it's that simple idea that if everyone cleaned their own doorstep, the whole world would be clean. So if we encourage people to do that inner work, that inner transformation, that inner alchemy, that in turn literally changes the world. Because if we just focus on the exterior without focusing on the interior, we're only like putting band-aids on the wound kind of thing, and then it's just going to keep coming up. So let's go right to the core. But what I was just trying to say is that within this, part of my way is to like motivate me for doing this was kind of that simple question of, if not me, then who? And that's what I asked myself when I first started this, like back in my college and things like that. And I invite you guys to sort of think about that, because you may be, and people talk about this, some paradigm shift community admins will talk about this, where they might say like, okay, the town that I'm in, like there's nobody awake. At least that's what they say. That's what they say, right? And like there's like nobody's like talking consciousness and stuff. And I'm just like, then that may be exactly why you are there. Because maybe you're the spark, maybe you're the initiator. And that's the beauty, is that it literally only does take one person to start a paradigm shift community, to start a conscious community event, and so forth. So I invite you to think about that. If not you, then who? And if the answer is I don't know, then perhaps it's you. So if that's the case, then kind of like meditate on that, listen to that call, because like, again, if you're thinking about it to begin with, then invite that into your story, invite that into your quest, and know that in doing that, that's also helping you grow into your role as a leader. And again, it's the idea of like leaders amongst leaders, and your inspiration will ripple beyond in ways that you may not even fully understand, or you may fully not even know. I've kind of said that before. I'm like, if we could fully understand like the impact that our ripples make within the world, like our heads would just explode. So it'd just be like, already we're doing it. So yes. Okay. So again, if anybody has any questions about this, even in the YouTube live chat, feel free to leave comments in the live chat. If you guys have any generic questions, please feel free to ask. And yeah, with that said, let's keep bouncing around. And shout out to Brianna. I know she's like working on papers right now, but she is tuned in, and she's again one of our veteran admins. So shout out to Brianna, and Monica's waving and saying hi to Brianna as well. so Brianna may be in here a little bit later. But in the meantime, let's keep bouncing around a little bit more, guys. And with that said, we'll let someone else unmute themselves and introduce themselves and share a little bit about who they are, where they are, some of any community conscious stuff they've been involved with, and any intentions that they have moving forward. So Malik, you have your microphone open. Good to see you, dude.
Yes, hello.
And yes,
How
man.
are you doing?
Good, man, good. We'll just make sure the audio is coming through okay. Sounds good. And Malik,
right.
Welcome to the admin meeting, and please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us where you are and what you've been up to and what you're going to be up to in the future.
Okay, well, I to get broken up, and I have another colleague, lovely May Yvette. She's there as well. I'm in the, I call it the deep Southwest Philippine Sea, Southeast Asia. Right now, we actually have a project here called Infotrainment, which stands for Inspirational Facilitators Online Traffic Reining.
Now, can you just move your mouse a little? Can you move your mic a little bit closer to your mouth as you keep going?
Can you hear me there?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. That's perfect. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
The bandwidth, I don't have unlimited bandwidth, and you kind of have to buy it as you go, or it runs out. So it's not always that stable. But yeah, so we have my family here, actually, my father, we have a beach resort as well. And I was in the beginning of organizing getaways, and I thought about something similar to having a shift community because I know you guys are saying, I know ayahuasca's in South America, but I haven't seen the connection to Southeast Asia, and there's a lot of indigenous people here. I haven't really organized any thoughts around. I just wanted to get on and say hello, like I told you earlier, Brendon. And it's daytime here. We're about 12 or 13 hours apart, or it depends on if you're in West Coast, California. And I was just showing you guys some of that. And I wanted to just, hello, traveling. Sometimes I'm not actually here. But there's something called Project Getaway, and we've had some people come from the Miami area. I call it from sea to sea, from Southeast America, to come. This was about a year ago, and I haven't done as much since. I've been following the community about 2 years, maybe. Yeah, guys, and it's the first live contact that I've made. So I really didn't have, like I said, a lot extra to say. Let me think. I was showing you here. This is you guys hear about the dispute in Scarborough Shoal in the South China Sea. Well, I'm actually showing you the sea. So I'm actually right there in the heat of that.
I think you're we're getting the audio, but I think the video is a little bit laggy, so we're not always seeing everything.
It's probably laggy because if I move it, it's going to be choppy, right? Can
yeah,
you
right
tell
now
me?
the video is actually frozen.
Is it any better?
But yeah, we're still getting your audio though, so you can just explain to us. But yeah. So continue.
Well, like I said, from that being things organized, but as far as being a shifter myself, I have been for such a long time, specifically. I'd really have a monologue discussion or anything planned off the cuff. I was listening to, like I said, the last gentleman, he said he was organizing, I think ayahuasca, I think South America. There's a lot of indigenous that I've been involved with. You can go up to Benguet in the mountains from here. I get off the beaten path often, rather than not often. And so I really would like to organize some sort of getaway where people could come to a different, I don't know if that's what you're doing with the ayahuasca ventures. I didn't specifically, like I said, I didn't have a monologue. I'm a dialogue person, so I wait a little bit until you get open. I'm available here, so I have to head to our resort. I'm not at our place on the beach, like I said, I have limited bandwidth, so I didn't know how long it was going to be because it kind of doesn't give you a warning.
Mm-hmm.
It'll cut me off that I run out of bandwidth, or
well, before
significantly, and it tells you that your high bandwidth is gone.
Yeah. Well, before the bandwidth runs out, just something you mentioned there, the idea that you're interested in like having people down for gatherings. Can you hear me okay, Malik?
I can hear you. It's a little choppy, but I'm gonna walk over here to, I was sitting down in the inside area. I was just showing you guys there. I'm gonna walk over here real quick.
Okay.
I'm listening. Go ahead. Okay. I think I'm far from my signal too.
Yeah. We'll just get a little bit more from you, and we might pass it around in a minute. But you're just saying you're interested in the idea of like inviting people down. Oh, sorry. You're saying that you're interested in like inviting people down for events and you're in Southeast Asia is where you said. What would be sort of like your vision of what these events might be at the resort that you guys have, like some sort of like meditation consciousness, or just looking to hear some ideas? Sorry, you were mute there for a second. If you just go ahead. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to unmute here on Lovely May. Say hello. She's a little shy. She's from here, and she joined in. So I was on my phone because I had to.
Okay. So now we're on the laptop. Okay.
Say hello, Lovely May.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, and she's native here, so.
Okay.
So like I said,
yeah. So
the getaway and some of the projects. Have you heard of Project Getaway before?
Project Getaway. No, I haven't heard about that. But yeah, if you just want to maybe move your mic a little bit closer. But yeah, you were
I'm using the mic on the camera. Can I hear me well?
using those ones there. Okay. All right. Okay. No worries. There we go. Okay. All right. I got 2 feet.
When I came here, I heard the loop back. I apologize. So
Yeah. No worries. Okay, so yeah, so you're so just to summarize, you have a resort in Southeast Asia, and you're interested in like having people there for events. Now, in addition to like having maybe tourists there, is there maybe things that you could do for like local community events as well that you've thought of?
We do a lot of local community events. As a matter of fact,
Awesome.
Lovely's a student of teaching here, and we do things with the local college here that she goes to. So we do a lot of local events, and we help a lot of people in the local community relative to that. And that's what our project, as far as infiltrating, is about. But actually allowing them to reach out to the rest of the world, such as communities like this.
Cool. And so, what are those events usually like? What type of things do they focus on?
Well, right now we're just doing team building events, reorganizing, because I was doing projects where she was doing something called for rebate enrollment allowance. She was allowing people to go to her college and then gathering within their groups. But as far as spirituality, we go up into Baguio and Benguet, and I do things with a lot of the native communities as far as here and get involved from their projects. And then they come down and we do a lot with the fishermen. You speak, I guess, shifters. You got to come out of a Western mindset. I guess if you go into South America and other places, you know, there's shifts going on, but it's a different process and how people get along and right? Which is not necessarily exactly the same as the way we think about it. So when you have diversity and you add diversity to the bunch, you know, I don't even think I'll do justice to explain when I am in Benguet or when with some of the communities there, because I just don't push my agenda. I just become a part of and say, if you guys are able to express and share to the rest of the world, you know, your point of view in your own way, not necessarily conform to this process that we're used to. So that's what we build, where people can have, they're afraid of sometimes using technology and blogs and this, that, and the other, and know that they're just a rock's throw from people like we're talking to you in Utah, and we're talking to you in London, Ontario, and I don't know where everyone else is from. But that a lot of people have cell phones here and they have ability or they get connectivity, but they don't use it to reach out. And when they find out that they're able to, that's amazing. So I think that's a dynamic approach. So us being online is our main event, being able to connect people to the rest of the world who usually wouldn't reach out, who are only confined to that point, but have a lot to offer. You know, they have wisdom in their approach and their ways, that if you map that to other communities that are overstressed and overburdened and, you know, over trafficked with, it's kind of, you say civilization is not necessarily civilized. And what we call uncivilized, sometimes it's more civilized than what, you know, what we've been living in. They may not have a lot of what we call standards of living, but there's a lot of quality of life. So there's a lot to be shared from the approach here to our mindset there. You know, I pretty much just being involved in that. So it's not about talking shift, it's about being in the shift. And that shift of that respect. You know, we say as above, so below. You know, so there's a lot of relativity in that approach. And so there's not a lot to talk about, but just being about it, you know, being a part of it. So that's if anyone can feel where I'm coming from, it's a lot of times there's not words to say. It's something you have to also feel within a group of people. So we're a community now, and as a community, just this moment of us being together is the arrangement. It dictates the direction, you know, that we got a chance to. I think I can see several people here. So the project is online. Infotainment, inspirational facilitators online. So the fact of getting everyone who's not online in other communities online and then feeling comfortable and not shy, like Lovely is, it's feeling a bit shy and quiet, you know. So that's the important aspect of that. The meeting at the resort is more or less saying, okay, yes, there's technology, but we can exist within each other. Brendon, I gave you a link of a video that we had that you can share if you want. Our place, doing him just out there and everything, us getting around and they're doing. And we're always building. It doesn't even look like that here. We're doing it the local way. When people are building, you kind of build as you go. You know, you get shelter in house. So you might build a house and a place, and you're living in it as you build it. You know, so it's that's it. When I say as far as organizing Project Getaway, is where some people here, where you can affect the lives of the local community. Because the minimum wage here in the province, for instance, is $10 a day, $7 to $10 a day. It goes very far, but you can actually have an impact for things that you take for granted. And that still, we may think that's of the world, but it means a lot to people, and there's balance spiritually, you know, where they may not have time to focus on shifting. Because a lot of people in communities don't have time to focus on the shift because they're just getting by, you know. So when we can make that connection and they say, well, look, these shifters are connecting to you and your community and really do care about what's going on. And here's technology. Look, I'm just not saying that. Reach out to some people, you know. Here you have the cell phone. You know, just reach out and say hello and see there is a community, and that's how the community can kind of grow. You know, that's a contribution that I can see that our project can make, and we all just kind of balance together.
Cool. I'm just gonna mute you on your end so I don't get the feedback, but I'll unmute you in a second. Yeah. So again, just as a summary for people who are interested. Malik, the project that he's talking about is Project Getaway, and you can check out their main website at projectgetaway.com. And I think like one of the things that you were talking about that I think is a really key point for especially us in the Western world to keep in mind is that, you know, when it comes to like changing the world and things like that, there's kind of like you can almost look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs in terms of people to like shift, and some people in different parts of the world, you know, like they're not really looking to like sort of like open their chakras or have kundalini experiences or really focusing too much on lucid dreams. Their focus is more on those basic needs, the literally like survival, like food and shelter and things like that. And I think that's like a really, again, like an important reminder, because like for people in like anywhere, like that is like one of the things that we want to be able to encourage like people to do within their community in terms of helping shift consciousness is to like help those who need it. And so like if that's like people on the street who are homeless, if that's like people who maybe are like youth at risk who could get like mentoring or something, if there's a program in your community that you could get involved with, there's a lot of different opportunities like that. And I think again, like those are all ways that we want to be able to like encourage people to keep in mind in terms of like shifting consciousness, because we don't want to just say it's just like, oh, you know, otherwise it sort of creates like this like sort of like spiritual ego kind of thing where it's just like, no, like I don't have time to like get brought down by quote unquote negative stuff. It's just like, let's do, you know, like what would Buddha do? And Buddha would talk about like how he would see the suffering of others as the suffering of himself. So I mean, before you run home and like do your chakra meditation, if you're like walking past someone on the street who could use a hand, like metaphorically, literally, and just like even, you know, a moment of time, then I want to be able to just like remind people to go other way and do that. And again, like even when I'm doing like the Spider-Man stuff like downtown, one of the things that like I'm literally doing is like keeping an eye on things downtown. And I'm literally kind of like going up and down the street, and like there's homeless people who like I know, and like I'll go and I'll talk to them, and I'll just be able to say, you know, like in addition to like giving them change and just like be like, okay, you know, like check in with how they're doing. And I literally just say like, I'll see you around, and, you know, like I'll come say hi next time I'm passing by and stuff like that. And so, I mean, like, being there kind of is just like the eyes, the ears, and the helping hand within your community is a very powerful thing, and you don't need a superhero costume to do it. So Malik, I want to just be able to pass it over to you, and then I think we'll just jump around a little bit more. but it just kind of like asking you, like, what are some of the ways that we can like help change the world, as big as that question is, from your perspective, and kind of what you said, like based on like what you're aware of within like your local community, and kind of what we were talking about, you know, like it's not just shifting consciousness isn't just about like doing crazy meditations with people, but sometimes it's literally just like being there to like show up and like help give them food or clothing or things like that. But yeah, like what, just remind us, what are some of the ways that like we can help shift consciousness? And you can take that wherever you want it. Go ahead. You're good. You're good. Oh, you just muted yourself now. So
Okay, go ahead.
go ahead. You're good.
Okay. Looks like it's still muted there. But, well, I think in the beginning is just collective. The beginning is just, like I said, just reaching out and connecting to know that someone else is out there. That's when we say one of the ways, that's my specific focus. Because how much are we interacting in this community with other people that you're talking about that need a helping hand? You know, I know several people that are here, you know, like that, and some people walk past them, right? And I say adopted, but there's a lot of children now, yeah, they come up right lovely that we kind of build with. So I think the fact that they get excited if they know, at least my focus with infiltrament is the fact that you can connect to other people. First, that hope, you know, that sense of hopefulness that someone else is thinking. When you do know that you're in Ontario and someone's in Utah and this, that, and the other, I mean, I want to start there because I'm not necessarily, where we are, actually, you can eat better than you can in Canada. If you don't have money, you know, there are pineapples and there is that and the other. So sometimes it's not necessarily about, you know, food or worrying about clothing or shelter, but there's a hidden stress or burden, right, on people here about being compared to the so-called civilized and uncivilized world, and it puts a weight on the mindset and the psyche. And when you think of a shift in consciousness, we're talking about consciousness, then we need to allow people to see that there's a respect for that consciousness that they have, so it lifts up their being, because there's a lot of power in people that I find that are simple lives and simple people that I mean, it's transformed my life. I've slowed down significantly. I focus and see things and appreciate things that I necessarily didn't in the environment of being in the States or Canada or anything else like that. So just being the first day I've, you know, come here, that would be the primary thing I would say, is to adjust to. For instance, if we could get Lovely to say hello, that would be an example. You know, it seems foreign. They call everybody a foreigner. You know, foreigner, 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 foreigner. And when you come here, segregated. You know, I'm one of the people that segregate myself. I don't act like a foreigner. I don't know a strange face or a strange spirit or anything else like that. So that made people go about things differently, but you know, and I like dialogue too. So, Brendon, if you could, or anyone else want to add to their thoughts that might spark from where I'm coming from, that's what I'm specifically interested in.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you again for joining, and I'm just gonna kind of mute you on that end so we don't get the feedback. Yes, thank you again for joining Malik and as well. Lovely. Appreciate you guys being here and for rocking it. So, cool. Okay, we'll pass it around. But I was just gonna say, if there's anything else that you just want to say at this moment for the people listening, go ahead. Either of you.
Lovely, could you hear her?
I think if you guys lean in a bit, it helps. But yeah.
I just want to say thank you for the insights that I gained to this community, and I say hello. That's all.
Awesome. Hello. Cool. And Malik, if there's anything else you want to say, and we'll pass the talking stick around shortly.
Okay. Well, you know, what's the schedule again? Because this is the first time I've joined, and I think next time I'll attempt to have Lovely go remote and walk around, and hopefully let you guys say hello to some of the people that I'm talking about, even some of the children and different
That
things
would
like
be
that.
that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. Yeah,
That's the way to do it.
that'd be really cool to like from where you guys are. I like that idea of being able to like share through the magic of technology, like what we're doing with like some of the younger kids and invite them to get involved. I think that would be really cool. Yeah.
I want to hear Brendon say free hug. I want to hug that person there.
Yeah. We'll do free hugs to the internet. So you guys, yeah, we'll just you guys can be like the ambassadors and stuff. So the hugs,
Right.
they'll hug you and yeah.
Kinda, so just the idea of doing things like this are different. It's not the same. So that's a mindset that we need to be able to balance. So that's, I think, before we can get to some of the larger things, it's just a simple approach like that. Some people here you get free hugs, and if I'm in the mountain or certain bigger towns, they might have it, but we're actually way in the province, kind of like the countryside here in a smaller town, and we're closer to some of the indigenous people in areas too. So I think that like a free hug here. I think Lovely loved the free hug sign, so I'm going to give Lovely a hug from all of you guys. All right. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for being here and for joining us all the way from it's Southeast Asia. But where exactly are you guys in Southeast Asia? Philippines. Sorry, is that what?
Yes, the
Northern part of Philippines. Yeah. Very cool. Awesome.
Locos.
Very cool. Well, again, it just goes to show that we got a whole global team here. We got a global network of shifters, and again, like I like what we were talking about there, because that even gives me some additional ideas of just like how can we do that? How can we help like bring more shiftiness, quote unquote, just using that term, to other parts of the world. And I think the fact that we have technology is like one of the beautiful ways to do that. So I mean, that could be a thing where maybe like with Malik's help, we might be able to like organize like doing some like hangouts between some of us shifters here and some of the people there as well. And we got this beautiful portal called technology and called computers, and literally be able to talk. And I think that's a really, really exciting thing, because sometimes the community, connecting as community, is a really, really big thing for people, and just never underestimate that. So being able to do that on a digital global scale, I think is really exciting. So Malik, any just going to pass the talking stick over to you one last time. Any last thing you want to just say before we keep moving on? Is there anything else?
If you guys just, I don't know how many people I'm connected to. If you can reach me, my Gmail to connect this. I am now 999 at Gmail, and you can reach me there for hangout or Skyping. And Lovely will probably is here because I travel a lot.
Awesome. Well, I have your Facebook profile too, so we can link that to people as well. So that'll be perfect. Sweet. Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys, for joining in and for sharing a little bit of how things have been going and what you're doing, where you are. I really appreciate it. So thumbs up. Awesome. Sweet. Okay. So again, Malik and Lovely in Southeast Asia, reporting in from a part of the Philippines, and you can connect. One of the projects that he was talking about is projectgetaway.com, and spelled how it sounds. So you can check that out as well if that's something you're interested in. And in addition, you can connect with Malik through his Facebook at facebook.com/IamNow999, and it's number 999. And I'll post a link for that for people in the show notes as well. So for any of the shifters right now, just in this hangout, just inviting you guys to connect with Malik's profile as well. And that's super awesome. So with that said, guys, we'll keep bouncing around. And speaking of connecting with people, if there are people in the YouTube Hangout and you guys want to make some new shifter friends, please feel free to post your Facebook profiles into the live chat, and even just your profile and where you are from. and then if you want to put where you're from, and then people can even potentially connect with you on that level as well. It's always really cool because it's like through these projects, you know, like one person will be like, whoa, okay, I'm tuning in from here, I'm tuning in from here, and then it turns out they're like 5 kilometers away from each other, and then like a month later they end up like organizing an event together. So that's kind of the cool thing, is that again, like the synchronicities are happening right now through the internet. So with that note, we'll just invite you guys to continue to share this broadcast with others so that more people can synchronistically tune into this. And we'll keep bouncing around. I do want to wrap up this broadcast no later than 1. And we can finish with like a short meditation at the end, which is like something we usually do. And in the meantime, let's keep hearing from some of the other shifters in terms of what you guys have been up to or any future stuff that you guys got planned going on. So with that said, the only other people that we haven't heard from in this broadcast are Kyle and Michael. And I think Michael wants to go next, and then we'll hear from Kyle. And again, if anybody else wants to join in the meantime, please feel free to do. I've kind of said before, just as I pass this over to Michael, this broadcast, like in particular, isn't like the admin meeting broadcasts in particular aren't always the quote unquote like most popular broadcast, but from my perspective, they are like one of the most important. And again, because it's all fun and games to be talking about like super awesome metaphysical, spiritual stuff and dreams and lucid dreaming, but we have to like constantly like be reminded of like, okay, how can we integrate this into our everyday lives? How can we integrate this into our community? How can we be the bridge for higher consciousness, like in our everyday lives, in our community, and helping, you know, like create more of those like interaction moments, not just for ourselves, but for other people. So bringing the conscious boots to the ground. This is like the root chakra work right here. Whereas like things like dream class and global meditations is kind of like, you know, so we got kind of like the whole spectrum of like sort of like chakra kind of oriented broadcast that we do here. And right now this is root chakra oriented, root chakra. I feel like I've been saying chakra wrong this entire time. I'm pretty sure it's chakra, depending on who you ask. Yeah. Okay. So Michael, we'll pass it over to you. And I know you've been involved with the Paradigm Shift community for a while, and you've had some shift buttons, and you've been giving those out here and there, and you're kind of in school right now.
Yeah, down to 1.
Down to 1 shift button. We'll get you your new batch in the near future. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious in terms of like any community stuff that you've been involved with that you want to mention, or any intentions that you have to maybe help create some future consciousness shifting community events where you are, or anything else you want to share. So Michael, go ahead. We'll pass the talking stick over to you.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Sounds okay. I'm going to bring it up. Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, well, actually, it's interesting. I've been just kind of doing my, well, I would just lay the buttons out on campus and on my college campus. And, you know, I'd check the next day and they wouldn't be there. So somebody's definitely been picking them up. There was this really cool guy in my class, in my psychology class, that is really knowledgeable about just all sorts of subjects and topics in class. And I actually, he did a report on Taoism. So I was like, I showed up one of these days and I had that what's that, the yin and yang symbol button, and I was just like, here, you know, I'm part of this this group that really works towards, you know, human advancement and consciousness and evolution. And I was like, hey, you know, you want this button? But he just didn't want it, man. But it's cool. I mean, it's like that invitation was there, and you might get that sometimes, you know. But the thing is I've really been trying to, at least with college and online, I've been doing this thing, you know, I do videos. I've been going by Secret Agent 777. And so I really like that you're talking about this as the groundwork, because I really like root chakra work. I really like, you know, like laying the, you know, the steps, you know, for people to walk on and stuff, because it's like, hey, you know, it's like this is the platform. You know, this work is just as important as the higher chakra work, if you will. You know, so that's really and when I get those buttons, you know, I'll be able to do that a lot more. But it's like, you know, if I see somebody interested, because that's usually how I look. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. I mean, you know, if somebody's going to be interested or not. I guess you don't really know until you ask, but I try to make it, you know, if I see somebody that looks interested, I'll either, you know, lay one of those buttons out there, or I'll you know, try to, you know, say, hey, you know, are you interested in the significance of what the symbol means or anything? But I try to do it, you know, not in a way that's like, you know, preachy or anything. It's just like if they're open to it. And so yeah, you know, I'm really into that. I'm really into human advancement, self-actualization, and evolution. So, you know, I'm that's what I'm an agent for.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Did I know you're kind of like busy at school and stuff like that, but do you think there's a possibility of like organizing some events where you are? Do you sort of feel that could be something you might be able to do or feel called to do currently?
Well, it's possible. It's possible, but if it is, it'd be more like small groups or little inner circles, kind of. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, that's totally a thing too. Because I mean, I'm just kind of getting to the point where, like, for yourself and for other people who may be in colleges and universities are a great place to help start like a shift community or a meetup of some sort. Because you can always like rent the club rooms, and they usually have them accessible for students and stuff. So it's one of those things where you just kind of like book it. And then you just kind of create like a little pamphlet and Photoshop or something like that. Invite a few friends and sort of let it take off. Or, I mean, even, you know, doing free hugs on campus is always a super effective thing as well. So,
you know, I never thought of that. Well, when I get my package, we might make something like that happen.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm definitely interested in doing the groundwork and contributing in that manner.
Word. Michael, we're just gonna switch gears here for a second. Monica is just jumping back in to say goodbye, actually. So Monica, we'll just pass the talking stick over to you, and anything else you want to say before you have to head out for another big day tomorrow. So
Yes.
yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's been so nice to reconnect with some of you again and to see new faces, always new faces, which is super wonderful. I guess just don't give up the fight. Keep following your heart and listening to it, because seriously, there's so much that is being called for right now. So wishing you all the best, and I hope to see you soon. And yeah, and just to share one website in case anyone from anywhere is trying to get involved with the No Dapple action that's going on right now, visit nodapplesolidarity.org. We have a lot of information on some action you can do within your communities right now. And if you can, make it over to North Dakota, because they're seriously asking for some bodies and people and numbers. So that would be really awesome. And yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know.
And Monica, what's the next event that you guys got coming up, or something coming up?
So I know that there's one in Chicago, a really big one. There's going to be a rally at the Daily Center, right in downtown in Chicago. And I know there's going to be like a snake dance, which should be pretty interesting. But I know there's going to be way more numbers since that whole check-in situation happened on Facebook. We actually were trending on Facebook, which was an incredible moment, I feel like, because didn't see that happening. But heck yeah, so that's all I got right now. But seriously, if you don't know or you want to get involved somewhere in your community, just look up even on your Facebook page, No Dapple and the largest city near you. I'm sure that people are organizing somewhere near you. Okay, that's all I got.
Awesome. All right. Well, Monica, we'll talk to you later. It's great to hear from you again, and
Thank you.
we'll include your profile link into the show notes. So for people who want to connect with you,
Absolutely.
they can do that. So okay,
All right.
talk
Thank
to
you.
you later. Keep it
Take care. Yes, always.
Always. Awesome. Okay, guys. So again, if anybody's looking to connect with Monica, I'm just going to spell her Facebook address real quick on Facebook, but her last name is Polish, I believe. And so bear with me because I'm not going to be able to pronounce it, but I'll be able to spell it. So take notes if you want to connect with Monica, because her Facebook address is, are you ready? Facebook.com/Monica, Monika, and then period. Here comes the last name, DWOJTOWICZ. So gonna spell it again, DWOJTOWICZ, or Z, depending on which country you're from. So thank you again to Monica. And again, even if you look up Paradigm Shift Chicago, you can find the Paradigm Shift Chicago page. I'm not 100% sure how currently up to date it is, but maybe I'll just send a reminder there to Monica as well if she's got some events coming up that she can post there in the meantime as well. But yeah, huge shout out to her, and huge shout out to people who are getting involved with a lot of the Standing Rock Solidarity events. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next minute, especially since I know it's something that Kyle is interested in, and we'll hear from him. So let's keep bouncing around some more, guys. Let's go for about another hour or so, and then we'll wrap this up soon enough. And again, these broadcasts are a great way for us to be able to share, to be able to document more of the ongoing story. That's kind of the cool thing with these broadcasts, is if you tune into this one, then you tune in again to the next one, you actually get to like see the ongoing story in the bigger picture. It's kind of like a ongoing, like almost a graphic novel adventure kind of thing with a real world team of superheroes. So it's pretty exciting. So with that said, Michael, we'll pass it over to you if there's anything else that you just wanted to hit upon, and then we'll pass it over to Kyle shortly afterwards. So, Michael, where we just kind of left off, man, like what do you feel? Do you see yourself in some parallel reality, like possibly like organizing some like open-minded discussion, meditation, philosophical groups in your community, or where do you feel your role is kind of?
That's a possibility. That's a possibility. Yeah. Yeah. If I, the main thing is just like, you know, people that are interested in it. But I mean, if you put up something, you know, especially the college I go to, I mean, they seem, you know, pretty open-minded. So yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, I usually do things online, but if the opportunity presents itself, yeah, there's a possibility we could make something happen.
Cool, man.
And of course, I mean, there would be a lot more of structure from kind of like, you know, the different practices and things that I've studied. So I mean, there's definitely some authenticity, you know, brought to it, you know, and yeah, there's definitely a possibility. Right now, so far, I'm just looking at, you know, handing out the buttons and do what I can on the campus, because that's a good place to. I really enjoy doing that.
Cool, man. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's fun to just like have the buttons on you, and then you're just kind of looking around. It's just like, where's this one gonna go? And then you kind of see people, or you just kind of like go up to them, and it's a lot. It has a lot to do with intuition,
Yes.
actually. So yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad to hear that you're getting those out there, and we'll be getting your kit will be get sent out very soon, so we'll get you restocked as well. So
Yes,
that'll be good. Cool. All right, Michael, is there anything else you want to add in the moment before we pass it over to Kyle?
Oh well, I just want to say, as far as the, I think the groundwork is just as important. I've always said this, and this is kind of a thing that I just came to realize is like, you know, I think, when you look at, say, like the chakra model, it's like we really like the idea of getting higher wisdom, or the crown, or getting up to the crown. But I really think each center is just as important as the other one. I don't think it's a higher or lower kind of thing. I think it's like they're all like rooms you need to check into. And so I think I like the admin meetings just as much as the dream class, if not, I mean, just as much, because it's like I'm glad to see people that are actually, trying to make change, and in a physical way, or at least just doing some type of action. I really like that, because action is what makes things happen.
Word, man. Cause and effect.
Yep.
Michael, just remind the people again, whereabouts are you located?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. So again, if anybody is looking to connect with Michael in Austin, Texas, you guys can look up Michael Pratt on Facebook, and that should bring it up as well, and we'll include the links into the show notes also. So cool. All right, Michael, anything else before we pass it to Kyle?
No, just basically just believe in yourself. Keep that empower. It is about self-empowerment, alchemy. Do what you can to help others. It's the same as help yourself. And I think really when you empower yourself to a certain state, which I believe that's where you need to be, just like it says, as Solomon built his temple, so should man. So when you reach a certain state, that's when it's like you're qualified, you're certified to be able to help people from a higher perspective.
Word, man. Sweet. Bringing in a little bit of Solomon there. I like it. Cool. All right. Okay, Michael, thank you again. And yeah, we'll definitely chat some more as we keep bouncing around here. So awesome. Thumbs up. All right. Okay. So we're going to pass it over to Kyle in the next second. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this. Currently, we have about 15 people watching on YouTube right now. So shout out to you guys on the YouTube, and shout out to the hundreds of people that are listening to this in the future as well. Just as a reminder, if you guys are looking to subscribe to Paradigm Shift for ongoing broadcasts, you can want to subscribe to the YouTube at youtube.com/Skull Babylon and check that out. And also to look up Paradigm Shift Radio on iTunes, and you can subscribe to that with a podcast app of a sort. And you can also find it through blogtalkradio.com/Paradigm Shift Radio. And through the main website, you'll see up in the main menu the links for the past broadcasts as well that are pretty easily accessible. And so again, always encouraging you to go back and check out past broadcasts, be it admin hangouts, regular team building hangouts, dream classes, global meditations, destiny schools, and all sorts of awesome, cool content that we were creating through the community. So just as we're about to pass it over to Kyle, one of the things I wanted to hit upon was getting back into some free hugs, shiftivism tactics and stuff like that. Again, the idea is that we're encouraging people to, what we do is sort of refer to as hacking the matrix. And that means kind of showing up and being a code and injecting a code and being something that people will notice. And through the power of free hugs, again, this is what we encourage people to do. With the free hugs and the shift buttons combined, the shift buttons have the website to the Paradigm Shift Central website, and we're helping get these out to as many shifters as we can through the world. And you can get those when you sign up for the team Patreon support team, the support squad, and that's at patreon.com/Brendon Culliton, and always inviting people to sign up for that when they can. But again, you sign up, you get your shift buttons if you have them or not. You don't even need shift buttons to do free hugs. You don't even need your shifter booster kit to do free hugs. You can make your own free hug sign. But really just trying it for yourself is always such an exciting thing. And I know that there's a lot of shifters who aren't necessarily in this broadcast, but have been engaging in a lot of shiftivism outside of this, on their own, and doing things like free hugs and just sharing through some of the messages that they're writing me about the differences that it is making and also the difference that is making for themselves. Because a lot of times when people are thinking about doing free hugs for that first time, it can be like a very anxious thing. It can be something that gets them very nervous in a lot of ways. And sometimes I do think of it as like almost like jumping out of a plane, but it's kind of like you jump out of a plane and you know that like the parachute is there. Like the universe kind of has your back, and doing free hugs is a great way to kind of like step into more of yourself, step into more of your own courage. And it's one of those things where like as you do it, you literally like gain your experience points, you level up your free hugs ability kind of thing. So it's really cool. And again, just going back to like when I was doing it as Mystic Spider-Man, there's a just as a reality, you will get a bit of a spectrum in terms of like the reactions that you get from people. Like every now and then, as much as like a lot of people like it, you will get one person who just kind of like gives you the evil eye or scoffs at you or something like that. And what you want to do in that scenario is like kind of just like don't feed it. Don't feed the trolls. Don't let it get to you at the same way, because it's kind of like almost there as a reflection of the universe, again, kind of like testing you. Like, are you going to let like one person's comments kind of like just like completely get at you, or you kind of just be realign yourself with, again, the vision, the purpose. Like, why are you doing this? Yeah, you may look silly doing it, but why are you doing it? You're doing it for other people. You're doing it to be able to like connect people through community, to build the tribe. And again, free hugs is a great way for helping with the initial stages of starting a paradigm shift community. That is something that I've talked about before, where if you're like just literally, you can start a paradigm shift community in like 2 weeks if you run a simple routine of finding a place to have meetings, book the meeting place, create pamphlets if you can, and then do something like doing free hugs, and then using the free hugs to also connect people and invite them to the meetings as well. So if you're in a place that like doesn't have like many people that you think are open-minded, doing free hugs is a great way to be able to find them as well. So yeah, there's other stuff I want to talk about related to the Mystic Spider-Man stuff, but we'll pass it off to another shifter here within the chat. And again, you know, like a shifter is a person who is intentionally helping shift consciousness. And a shifter is also like pretty much like a Jedi and a modern day superhero and a light guardian and a light worker. So for all you out there, feel free to like wear that as like something to help give you focus on what it is that you're doing. You wake up in the morning, you're like, I am a shifter. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to change the world. Even if it just means like one smile with a stranger, that counts. Even if it just means sitting at home and meditating, that still counts. So, okay, let's pass over to Kyle. And again, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining in, and appreciate, thank you for your patience as well. And after this, we'll just kind of like open up some freestyle conversation. So Kyle, we're going to pass the talking stick over to you. And as mentioned, you're one of the regulars here, and you can give us a little bit of updates in terms of just like who you are, where you're from, what things you've been involved with in terms of community, shifting consciousness, and also any intentions that you have for the near future. And shout out to Brianna. Brianna just joined as well. Brianna, do you want to just do a mic check real quick? Say hello to the people of the internet so they know you're here.
Yo, 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 Breezy here. What's up, interwebs?
Yo, sweet. All right. So Brianna finished grading her papers or something. So we'll good job. So we'll hear from Kyle, and then we'll hear from Brianna as well. And like I said, I want to get into some group discussion about the Standing Rock, and just kind of like let's flesh it out. What does this mean? What does this mean to us and as shifters? And again, how can we help? So Kyle, we'll pass the talking stick over to you, and welcome back, brother.
Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? How's it going, Brendon? How's it going, all the other familiar faces and everyone who's new? How's it going? My name is Kyle, and I'm in the paradigm shift. I've been in the paradigm shift, dude, I don't even know how long it's been. How long have I been, like, actively engaged in paradigm shift?
At least, like, 8 months now, I think. Enough for your hair to grow twice, so... Yeah. And where, just as you, before you get going into it, remind people where you're from and so forth.
I'm from Delaware, Newark, Delaware, in United States of America. I'm at the admin for the Paradigm Shift Delaware page on Facebook, and the little community that I've slowly been building. It's actually turned into a pretty cool adventure so far. I've gotten some people involved. not everything is together. I think that I was mentioning this the last time, and nothing has exactly progressed too much from the last actual like admin hangout we had, I think, which was like would have been a month ago. Not a whole lot has changed other than some of my own personal motives and drives and where I see myself in the future and going and doing, how it can help impact the world for the greater. Things have been coming like really crazy in my mind, and sometimes I do a lot of overthinking, but um I don't know, man, it's kind of hard to like not do anything and sit idle while the world is on fire. So I've had some shifts in thought about what I can do in an active way, and that's where, you know, going to North Dakota has come into play. I really feel pushed and driven to go out there, and I want to shoot everything with a camera and capture it all on film and photo. Just do what I can to make sure that gets out in the right way. I want to eventually build a giant documentary. Um, and I'm totally not alone in this. There's a lot of other people that feel the same way, that they just need to go out there. And it's kind of like an unexplainable thing. It's not, I don't exactly know why this one in particular is so like such a heavy kind of thing for me. Maybe I've got like some kind of, you know, spiritual connection or like spiritual ancestral connection to these people somehow through like some kind of like really queer, really weird, crazy, like super recessive dominant, like low tuck gene somewhere that just like surfaced. Maybe, I don't know, but I feel driven to go there, so I want to, and I'm doing everything I can to get there. There's other people I'm supposed to go with. I'm going with more paradigm shifters in the paradigm shift community. One of them is Ryan Glantz. He might be going. He might be going. He's still kind of on the fence about it. But Jamie has said that she wants to go, and is definitely like put forth a lot of interest and like, you know, expression into getting out there. So we've decided to like we'll link up and go together. And if Ryan wants to come too, and if he decides that like he's going to do it too, then we're all going to go out there. And it'd be great to have more paradigm shifters. That'd be excellent to have more people of our community, and we could go out there, you know, and represent that in a way, to be like, look, we are actually of a community that hears this, and we're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually like really crazy. Like the way I feel, it's hard for me to talk about because I want to like break out. You know what I mean? Like it, and I don't know why. I have no idea why, and it might just be because like, you know, like I'm strictly like a product of the environment I'm in, of a like, you know, the, you know, you look at me, you wouldn't think, you know, like minority, but like all American minority is like the bottom rung American citizen. Like that's where we all sort of are in America. Like it's just like everybody's under the same pressure, no matter what it is. Like no matter how good you got it or how bad you got it, we are all under the same pressure. And that is, you know, because we have a constitution that says we have, you know, declared our natural rights as humans, and over time it has evolved, and they've added in so many different little nicks and knacks, and it's like now it's like one document that was like we declare that we are free has changed into something that's like, it's like now it says, you know, it's like a 200-page book now, and it's like we declare we are free. Read the fine print, motherfuckers. Ah, ha, 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 ha. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. It's difficult to express the way that I feel, because we are all, man. You can't You can't say we're a free country and then go and start taking people's rights away and having them buy them back from you. All this different stuff. You know, the system is broken right now, and we need a drastic change. And I'm not saying like we need to go and like burn down the White House. I'm just saying we need some drastic change. And I think the first step like to doing that is like right now, if now isn't a time to realize that like this is a time for needed change, because right now, like, dude, the government's literally coming through and bulldozing some shit. Like the cops are out there like smashing down. Am I still in here?
Yeah, you're still
Am I still in here?
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Look, the cops are literally like going through and smashing down everything that they've gotten. And it's like, they know they're not supposed to be there. They know it's illegal for them to be there. Why are they even there doing it? Like, you're just moving in and like beating people up and causing harm, doing a whole lot of like really terrible things for no real good reason. It's like, if this isn't like the blatant time to do something, for God's sakes, fucking the only two candidates we are allowed to pick from, you know what I mean? Like, I could step up and say, I want to run for president, and you're goddamn right, I've got a lot of better fucking ideas than these two motherfuckers do. And a lot of people would probably listen to me and say, you know what, like, that guy is like, he sounds a whole lot better than Donald Trump or fucking Hillary Clinton. I just don't have a lot of money. Drives it. It's like, why are they the only two goddamn fucking candidates? Because those are the people who will have the most amount of money involved in it. It's all based on net worth. How much are you worth? No. And like, if you saw that little post I put up right before I got on this broadcast, it's this little post from like, I don't know, it's like a movie or something a while ago. It's like this guy, he's just screaming. He's like, he's going off and talking about all this shit and about how like our guy's like, I don't want you to write your congressman. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do that.
Mad as hell and I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. I want you to get mad. I want you to open up your window, stick your head out and scream, I'm mad as hell, you know, like, I'm a human being, god damn it, and my life has value. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. That's where we are right now. Like, I don't know why, you know, it's like people look at you and be like, oh, you shouldn't be feeling this way, but I fucking do, you know what I mean? Like, we need something better than what we got.
Yeah.
It's really shitty time. Shit's about to like, it's like every day you don't know if shit's about to hit the fucking fan. God damn. Sorry, I didn't mean to like make a huge twist and turn, but like.
No, that's not a problem, man. Because I mean, again, like what you're saying is kind of like helping paint the picture in terms of what a lot of people are feeling right now. And our role as shifters is to like be aware of like what is happening on those big scales. I do kind of want to be able to like open this up to Brianna in the next minute and just kind of like allow her to introduce herself, but then keeping things kind of like weaved in to the Standing Rock scenario as well. But I did just want to like brainstorm on a couple ideas, because I think what would be cool if we can like make like an event through the Paradigm Shift Central Facebook page, just kind of like paradigm shifters on their way to Standing Rock, and then invite people to that event, and then like even help you like step into that event as like one of the coordinators for it. And then you might be surprised, because there might be like some people that are like wanting to do that and might be able to like make things easier in terms of getting there. So it might be one of those things where if we just like put out the signal, it may help open up some new doorways in terms of like you being able to get there, Kyle, but also for other people as well. And again, like I know like one of the things that you're like looking to get is like a camera as well, to be able to document things. Now I do actually want to check some stuff, because I'll check some logistics, but like if this works out, like there may be like one of my older cameras that I could like even send to you within like a time that would actually work. Like it might have to be like sent out soon, and I just gotta make sure that I have it and that it works and stuff like that. But like that could be something, because I know like even with the Standing Rock thing, it's just kind of like how much time do we have? Like, how long is this going to go? Because I mean, in one thing, it's just like, okay, they're planning on staying there for the winter, but then every day it's just like, okay, they're cracking down even more. So in some ways, it's just like, okay, it looks like it's going to keep going, and then in some ways, it looks like it's going to be over in like a few days. But like, what defines being over? Because I mean, people are going to still stay on the land. Like, essentially their objective is to like stop that pipeline from going through. I don't know what the most current situation is on that. I don't know like how, like, as far as I understood based on what was happening yesterday and today, like they're literally at the water. Like they're literally trying to like get it underneath the water and stuff like that. So based on that understanding, it seems like things are like, happening pretty fast and stuff like that. But yeah, like, Kyle, I think it's like, what you're experiencing is like such a common thing. And yeah, like I want to be able to like help like support you and other team members on like getting there, and also being able to like do what you feel called to do. And what you said, it's not even just so much about being there, but it's also about like being of assistance physically, and also through like your ability of like sharing the story and stuff. And there is a lot of media coverage already happening there. But again, it doesn't hurt to have someone else there with the intention of like creating, what essentially could be like a little mini documentary that we can help host and promote through Paradigm Shift, that maybe we'll be able to like edit down the road together, sort of thing. So, but yeah, just brainstorming some ideas. Kyle, how does that sound?
Excellent, man. Excellent. If there's anything that you feel, you want to do to help me out, absolutely. And if you think you have a camera or something, talk to me after this, we can brainstorm some ideas. We'll see, like what we can do about that, what I might be able to like exchange with you, or, just set like a return date or something like that. We'll figure it out. But yes, like if there's anyone else in the Paradigm Shift community that wants to connect and get down there too, and kind of help this grow on a larger scale, I would definitely, I have the capability to facilitate something like that and sort of like coordinate that. I've got a lot of experience in field situations like that, and I know how things can go, but I can also get everybody on a cordial page. I feel like I've done that a couple of times before in my experience. I'll definitely be able to coordinate something like that. And if there's other people that want to help us get down there, or help as in, meet up with us and go down there too, anything, pulling resources, people, money, anything, it getting down there is main priority. Bringing what we can to give to them is also a priority, but bringing our own equipment, we want to have our own equipment and stuff. I'm kind of imagining, if we get down there and we get like a little kind of like base operations set up, then we could go and literally act as like, our own small like broadcasting station out there. If we have enough equipment and we have the manpower to do it, we could have our own, like One Nation TV is doing that. We could do, like our whole Paradigm Shift Central TV, thing for our community and people who are interested in our community, or off branches related to our community, who, want another source, or who don't know about a source, and they can have this as a source of information for that. And this can branch off into many different things. And from this, if we could get that rolling, and if, fundraising and crowdfunding comes into play and starts, reciprocating in a positive fashion, then we could eventually take this, do the Standing Rock event, and then we can actually move to different events and sort of like go off and do our own sort of like reporting style thing with our like a home base. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. And again, like I like that for yourself, you've begun to transition into that like role of a journalist, of a gonzo journalist, a neo gonzo journalist, as we were kind of talking about outside this broadcast, and even just now. And again, like that's something that for the shifters out there, like I really invite you guys to do that, because that's one of the beautiful things about it, is that like, yeah, all of us can do free hugs, all of us can like give out shift buttons, all of us can create communities. Another thing that we can all do, especially when now with technology, is to like document, is to like be the storytellers, to be the archivists. And so I mean, I think it's really cool to be able to like see yourself amongst other people hearing the call to not only go somewhere, but to provide your service of helping document it, to share our story, and to ultimately like share like a story of hope. Because I think, but what is happening behind Standing Rock right now is a very inspiring story. And again, it's kind of like what I see Standing Rock as, and I want to be able to pass it over to Brianna in a second. Standing Rock is almost like this like last bastion of hope. Like in some ways, it really, really feels like that. Like if Standing Rock falls, then like what does that mean for everything? And that's kind of what people are seeing it as. And that's why they are so committed to like showing up there and being there, because this is like kind of even within the story of the natives. Sorry, what was that, Kyle?
I was gonna say it's like the last stand. Like they're saying, they're like, yeah, it's our land, but this is everybody's water. This is everybody's home.
Yeah, this is so symbolic and stuff.
That's why, that's why you said that's why people are going out there. It feels like a last stand, like a test for like all of us. Like, are you ready for change? Because if you are, you got to get really pissed off at your given situation, and you got to throw everything against the wall, and you need to fucking walk out of your house and go out here. And you need to fucking, stop what you're doing. You need to fucking not feed the system anymore. And you need to go and tell the system that you've fucking totally done with it. You need to tell your system you are totally fucking over it. Because the way it has fucking made you feel and made everyone feel, like I've not met someone who hasn't said, like, oh, like live in the struggle, live in the struggle, live in the struggle. Everybody, like that's the norm. Nah, dude, I'm sorry. The norm is not to feel like you're a shitty person all the time because you have to work 2 jobs and 80 hours a week to fucking get by.
Oh man, amen, brother.
Totally. Yeah. I was just gonna say, like real quick, and then I'm gonna pass it over to Brianna, and she can introduce or talk about Standing Rock in any way. But yeah, like again, and I think what is like extra awesome is like when we can consciously use our like frustration / anger / being pissed off in conscious ways. Like that's the thing, right? Some spiritual people will be like, don't get angry, like, and stuff like that. But there are times where like anger is a legitimate way of directing energy, is a legitimate way of like directing like focus and stuff like that. So if your anger is like telling you to like stand up because something you see is like being demolished or being degraded and stuff like that, then like that is like a very powerful thing. And so like in a lot of ways, like what is happening with Standing Rock is like, again, part of a bigger story. It's part of what's actually interesting is that like within the natives, they're actually talking about this idea of like us versus the black snake. And this is like something that they've had for eons and stuff, right? And so now here we have like this like pipeline and everything, which is like a very literal black snake, and that's what they're referring to it as. And they say that like when we come together to defeat the black snake, that is when things will change. So there's almost like this very like literal metaphorical prophecy in some way that we are seeing unfold right now. And again, so if people feel the call to go to Standing Rock, they can do that. That option like is there as a possibility. Yet there are other ways to help. And so as Monica was saying, and as we will hear a little bit from Brianna, let's start exploring that as well. So Brianna, if you're ready, we're gonna pass the
Yes, I'm so ready. Oh my God, you guys got
so
me
ready.
so
All right,
fired
Brianna, who are you? Where are you from? And what's up? What's new? What's gonna happen in the future?
So my name is Brianna. I go by Breezy Spread Love on the internet, so you can find me on YouTube and on Blogspot. I work at Western Michigan University in the Holistic Health Department as a teacher's assistant. And this topic is something that gets me really fired up because I have the opportunity as I've been involved in Paradigm Shift for 5 years?
2011?
Yeah.
Yeah, give or take. Half a decade, yeah.
So when you say it like that, it sounds cooler. So yeah, so when you have an opportunity to reach out to your community and try and shift some paradigms, you do so. And I have the opportunity to shift 200 paradigms since I have a class size of 200 kids. And this is a topic that I should probably bring up really soon. And like Monica said, as soon as she said that you can go to nodapplesolidarity.org and you can like figure out how to get involved, I went there and there's literally a page that says come to Standing Rock, and you click on it and it is a form that you can fill out, and all they're asking is for 1 week of commitment. And I think that it's totally a great idea that the paradigm shifters get together and decide to go, because we're all kind of familiar with each other. We all know that we will watch each other's backs, and so we can all go together, and I would feel more comfortable anyways doing that. And that would be like a really powerful statement. In terms of what this means for us as like shifters, but as humans in general, if you think about the Hopi prophecy, I think that it kind of relates to like one of those moments where like literally an army has to rise up in order to defend the earth right now. And it's highly important. Like, I'm really angry. I'm really fired up about it. It's hard for me to find the words to describe what I want to do. I cried the other day. Trevor Hall is a musician, and Trevor Hall released a new song called Standing Rock, and it's about Standing Rock, and I suggest that you go and listen to this song by Trevor Hall. But I watched that song, and the music video is basically shots from the protest and captions. And I just started crying because I was full of anger, but I was mostly moved. And I was conflicted because I'm so rooted in Michigan. So I'm from Michigan. I'm in Kalamazoo, Michigan right now. And I'm going to graduate school. So I still have to finish my degree in counseling psychology before I can go anywhere. But then after that, I still have student loans, which were loaned to me by the same banks that loaned out money to build this pipeline. So you can imagine where I have all of this anger coming from.
Fuck the banks.
Yeah, like I can't, like really, like, fuck the banks. There's so many, sorry, I don't know if we're supposed to swear, but
Fuck the banks.
but like you can go and do these actions where you can protest Citigroup, you can protest Wells Fargo, you can let them know that they can cancel the loans, they can take the loan back, there are things that they can do, but they don't want to because they want to make money. So Standing Rock is appropriately named Standing Rock because this is the last stand against big banks. This is the last stand for, like, it's very symbolic, and I know we've probably talked about that on many, many levels, and we can go super meta with, big banks being compared to the beast in the book of Revelations, and how we're supposed to be the army of angels that has to rise up in order to defend Earth, Gaia, from this evil prince that people worship nowadays, which is like capitalism or something like that. So like you can look at it that way, or you can look at it in a direct, like very like 3D kind of left brain way, which is you have capitalism coming in and devastating the ecosystem. So there's that as well. And so you can come at it from both sides. And no matter how you look at it, it comes down to what are your values? What do we as a human race value? What do we value as a community? Like, how do we operate as an American society, for one? How do we operate as Americans interacting with other cultures? And so this has a lot of other implications, and that's why so many people are getting so fired up about it. And that's why I think it's more important for us to talk about it in our own communities. I really like this free hugs idea, but buying a Standing Rock t-shirt and doing free hugs, so that one, you're supporting Standing Rock, but then you're also taking your paradigm shift buttons out there and you're spreading paradigm shift at the same time you're spreading hugs and awareness of such an important issue. And I liked that quote
Free hugs.
that you guys said earlier about they did something where we have to buy our rights back. And that is like so true for me personally, because I struggle with going out physically to Standing Rock because I have student loans to pay, which takes a huge chunk out of my paycheck every single month. And that's like my metaphysical chains, my metaphysical shackles. And I have to like try and buy my own right to freedom back, because I needed to get education so that I could become one of the elite people, so that I could like infiltrate. I see my role as an infiltrator, so I can, as a paradigm shifter, I'll use my degree and I'll use my education to infiltrate the matrix, so to speak, and work from the inside out as a counselor. But it's hard, and it's tough, and you get stuck. And it definitely, like, I'm a goddamn human being, you can't keep me tied down at the same time. So this also means a lot to me, because I was discussing with my partner, Nick, who's off in the corner shouting things, that, like, we want to travel really badly to Standing Rock. And coming up with the funds and making time to do it is a sacrifice that, I have to consider. And so I'm asking like other people, like, what are you willing to sacrifice? Like, it's literally, it's coming to a point with the elections. The elections are already shot in America, with how things are going in other areas of social justice. And then with this coming up too, you just have to ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice for what I truly believe? Like, what am I willing to give up in order to bring in a vision of a better earth and a vision of a better humanity? So I'm wrestling with the very big decision of, do I say like, fuck my student loans? How do I get my student loans forgiven? How do I like release myself from these imaginary shackles that have been placed on all of American, like most students in America have these imaginary shackles, and it doesn't have to be that way, because it's not that way in other countries. Wow, I think I reached the end of my list of things that I wanted to touch on. Oh, so if we do want to do a paradigm shift carpool to Standing Rock, from Michigan, it'll be a 17-hour trip. And I would be willing to begin that discussion if anybody else in Michigan is interested. And that, like I said, there's also other sacrifices. Like, if I request this time off of work and they refuse, am I willing to quit that job, in order to go? Like, what am I willing to do? So I think that, we can probably all relate to that question. What am I willing to do at this point?
Let's go.
Let's go. It kind of just seems like the logical thing.
Myself, I guess.
You like coffee?
Turn it.
You have to come. They won't really hear you. So this is Nick.
I will go too. I'm down to go right now. But hey, hello, paradigm shifters.
Get over here.
Yo.
So yeah, let's go take a trip.
I think it'll be really fun and really productive. And I liked the idea of setting up a media thing. Nick was really going down there and covering it himself. So.
Yeah, I've already talked about thoughts about doing it. So it's awesome if more people would be down. And I think it would be great. I saw the Paradigm Shift Central crowd outreach for the month of October, I think, on Breezy's Facebook, which reached like over 2 million people. Like, congratulations, I will say. And I mean, 2 million people could see what's going on if, paradigm shifters are down there. So
And we're
Yeah,
literally
hopefully you
called
guys can
paradigm
hear me.
shifters.
So.
Yeah, those just going back, the stats on the page. Sorry, just cancel out feedback. Nick was just mentioning how there was like 2 million reaches on the Paradigm Shift Facebook page. Going back to people who even tuned into past broadcasts, that was from like the video of the edit that we did of Shailene Woodley's speech that she did, and which was about Standing Rock. And so like that video is almost at 1 million views. So that's why statistically the page says that we've reached 2 million people this week. But again, like Facebook always kind of blows things out of proportion and stuff like that. So even though there's been like about 3,000 new likes on the page and we're currently at about 1,500 something, that doesn't necessarily mean that like we automatically have like access to like 2 million people and stuff like that. But it is getting out there, and people are aware of it. And again, you know, like a well-packaged piece of media is like something that we can always like help get like more, like to get the message out there, to get the inspiration out there. But yeah, like I really like the idea of like having a Paradigm Shift media team there and sending you guys on an assignment, so to speak. Nick's, Brianna, go ahead. You guys can unmute yourself. You guys were still talking if you want.
I was gonna say, I have a media company of my own called Third Eye Horizon that I currently am actually putting on like a mystery school. Essentially, the idea is just to raise consciousness. So that could also mean social consciousness, which has to do with Standing Rock, but also higher consciousness, metaphysics, whatever. So I actually went to school for broadcasting and got a bachelor's at Central Michigan University. So I'm very familiar with broadcasting techniques focused on video production. So I would definitely, you know, be down if we went out there to help coordinate the broadcasting through whatever sources we can get. You know, I've coordinated many things in the past as a producer, and I don't know, I feel like, yeah, we don't even need that many bodies, but you know, if we had a whole team down there, it would be very powerful. So yeah, I'm not sure like if that's just like a theory, it's not something we discuss actually going down there, but it's really exciting to consider.
Yeah, like just even as we were doing this, broadcast, I like put up a post like on my Facebook page and on the Paradigm Shift Central Facebook page. And again, facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Central. If you guys aren't connected with that yet, you can check it out. And please do. And like I did just put up a post just saying like, attention all shifters, like who's interested in literally going to Standing Rock. So we'll kind of see which of those get some feedback, and then we'll start to kind of maybe put together like almost like either like an event or kind of like a private chat or something. And I mean, for myself, like I really within my options to go to Standing Rock being in Canada, but again, like I'll be able to help assist through like some of the back end management that I can to get things coming together for you guys and stuff. But yeah, like I'm it'd be nice if we had a crystal ball just in terms of know like what the situation would be like in, you know, a couple weeks from now. But based on where things are going, it seems that again, you know, like they, with so many people there, that like it's a camp that is quite set up now. It's literally like a community, and their intention is to pretty much like stay there. And that's kind of what I mean. Whereas what I see Standing Rock turning into is literally it's going to turn into almost like an eco village. Like it's literally just going to stay there in some way. I feel that's just going to like naturally happen. So it's almost kind of like really similar to a transformational festival in some ways. Those of us who have like done transformational festivals, you know, you're camping in tents, you're like eating food on the go. But even with what they were saying, you know, the way how it's working is through like community hours energy exchange. So that's kind of what you were saying. They were asking where people volunteer their time to help with like any of the labor and things like that. And then they'll get like an energy exchange in return. And I know there's like buses that are going there in some ways. But yeah, Brianna, go ahead, jump right back in if you.
So I was reading, there's a forum, so you can go to nodapplesolidarity.org /come to Standing Rock. And I'm just going to read the paragraph, and it says, elders are now being attacked and detained on the front lines, and many folks with Red Warrior Camp have been detained multiple times. It is important, especially for white allies, to understand your privilege and how to use it by willing to take risks, and also being able to provide vital assistance to functions and operations of the camp by supporting in the kitchens with chopping wood and other tasks. So they're really doing an open call for all volunteers, for all people with all different types of skill sets. They're not just asking for people with protester experience, or they're like, really, just like Brendon said, it's like a consciousness shifting festival in the sense that they need volunteers to help work the kitchen. They need volunteers to help with groundskeeping. You know, they need people to be there in order to use their white privilege to talk to the media or resist arrest, or just some people who are just going to be understanding of the struggle and willing to struggle with the community that's already established there. So it is important that, you know, we educate ourselves, because I really don't know anything about the Native American culture, to be honest. I really don't. But this is an issue that does concern all of us, and it's kind of pushing Americans and, you know, other people in general to get to know the Native Americans that were here. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, and I'll share with you guys even just some updates right on the spot, just by doing like a quick screen share, actually, which is what I'm just going to do in this next couple seconds. But just one of the best pages that I found with regular updates for what's happening at Standing Rock is a Facebook called Sacred Stone Camp. And so updates, including this one, which I find interesting, the fact that like they are literally building a kitchen right now. So this just goes to show you where things are kind of moving towards, is that like they're literally like building buildings. And that's kind of what I said. Like once this started happening, I sort of had this foresight. I'm like, this is literally going to become almost like a small village, and it literally is. And I think that's what's going to happen. And then it could even be something that will stay beyond like the actual rallies and the protests, and it'll just kind of be like this gathering point. And so, I mean, I think what is actually really interesting, I find, and again, well, I'm just kind of showing these pictures and stuff, and I'll just kind of even scroll through and see what else they got on the page, though I haven't checked it all myself. What we're seeing right now is that we're seeing a lot of solidarity events worldwide. And there was actually a solidarity event in Toronto as well. And what people did is that they went into one of the TD banks, which is like a big bank here in Toronto, and they like did the old thing where they chain themselves to like one of the bars inside of it, and then basically they lock themselves down. And then so that is kind of like bringing attention to the fact that TD Bank, a bank in Canada, is like also like one of the like financiers, like the investors in like the Dakota Access Pipeline sort of thing. So it's kind of like, in a way, almost like one of the ways you can bring attention to it is by like almost like kind of shaming the people who have like their money invested in this project. And as crazy as it sounds, like it could be something down the road where people, you know, it literally only takes like a couple people to decide things in some cases. But, you know, there could be like a big company that decides to pull out their investment because they're just like, you know, like, we don't like what this is about anymore. We've had a change of heart. And so, I mean, I think that's kind of what it is that is happening right now, is that like this whole thing is really calling us into like opening our hearts in a bigger way. And again, you know, like with all of this, another thing that we want to remind ourselves of is that instead of thinking that it's like us versus them, understanding that it really is all us, and that like we are like standing against the cops for the cops as well, because we are doing it like for everyone, for the people. And so, I mean, even when you understand that like the cops aren't necessarily the military, they aren't necessarily the bad guys in this situation. Like we've heard stories about how at some of the rallies, there have actually been like cops on the who were on the front lines, and they're actually like crying. They're just like, this is like horrible. Like, I don't want to be a part of this. Yet they're stuck following someone else's orders. Yet evidently, like maybe that is going to like invite them to sort of change sides. And I think we are kind of seeing that, where like this is kind of like putting the military on the spot to say like, hey, like this is what you look like right now. And this is like, and so here's a picture of this is in Toronto. This is people locking themselves to the bank in Toronto, again, and just kind of like bringing awareness to this. Supports responsible energy development. TD Securities fund this. Right now there's a lot of like solidarity events happening that are like helping bring awareness to other people in the community, and in some ways like also helping like point fingers at like particular investors, yet also bringing people together in community as well. And it's kind of interesting. I'm just going to
Brendon, audio cut.
you guys can still hear me. I think it's working. Yeah. Okay, good.
No. We lost you for like 60 seconds.
Actually?
Yeah, straight up.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's the second time that happened. I tried to tell you before, but I didn't really want to just blatantly interrupt you.
Okay. What was the last thing you heard?
You had just pulled up the image to the large screen, and that's when your audio cut out.
Okay, so I won't do
about the last 60 seconds.
Okay, so I won't do the screen share again if that's going to glitch out. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize. Next time that happens, just let me know right away. And basically, again, like these solidarity events are really powerful because they're like helping like bring awareness to other people in the community about what is happening at Standing Rock, since it's not necessarily always on mainstream media. B, it's helping point fingers at like bigger companies that are connected to it that may help encourage them to like change their heart. And it's also connecting people in the local community who are generally like interested in helping make the world a better place. So like regular community events, if you have one going on in your area, that can be a great place to go and meet other shifters, meet other people who are interested in shifting consciousness. And so one of the things I was just going to say, though, and then I'll pass the talking stick around, is that what's actually really interesting right now is that with the energy of where we are we are on the eve right now of November 5th, which is commonly in the past like million mass march, Guy Fawkes Day, that big day in the past where people would always put on like the V for Vendetta mask and like go out into the streets. I have not heard much about it this year. I feel like everyone's just kind of like focusing on Standing Rock. I don't know. I
can fill you in on what's happening with Anonymous. I heard some things.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm curious as to like how these things are kind of running parallel. But
a few weeks ago,
go ahead, Kyle. What's details on stuff going on?
I haven't heard a lot about Million Mask March either. That is strange. But what's going on right now is recently, a few weeks ago, things between the anonymous community and the United States government had escalated very, very dramatically. They recently started giving like a bunch of media blackouts, and like I was having trouble following my anonymous resources for media. Anonymous apparently declared war on the United States government. So yeah, that might be why you haven't heard anything. And in addition to that, like, I've been observing some things that have been very mentally disturbing to see and like hear. Like I don't want to talk about it, but I will fill you in on the details. I will say I've seen some upgrades in technology where it shouldn't be. You know what I mean? In the civilian airspace, on like civilian roads. That shouldn't be there. Something weird's going on. It's not all training. I know that much. Like weird stuff's happening. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
things are getting interesting, and this is like, you know, just another reason, like exactly what you said, man. I saw your post that you put up, put a comment on it. Like, again, anyone wants to go to Standing Rock, link with me. Like, get my information, link with me. I will get you my Facebook information. You can contact me if it's necessary. I'll give you my phone number. You can call me. Let's organize something. If anyone else is interested, let's organize something and get down there. And like, if it takes staying through the winter, then I'll do it. Like, I'll totally do it. Hey man, what do we got to lose? Like, a job that I could probably just go and get again anywhere else. I can cook anywhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying.
So, yeah, it's definitely something. If anyone else, you know, anybody wants to go, link with me. Let's get our own little, you know, we can have our own little space set up where we operate out of, and we would go, you know, we'll make a call roster. We'll get everyone's information together. We'll get it set up. You know, we'll facilitate it. We'll have everyone meet at a location. We'll enter together, set up our own spot, and from there, you know, we'll just branch out and do what we do. So, like I was gonna say, Breezy, have your boyfriend link in with me. Have him get my information or whatever. If he's the guy who was saying he had the experience with some school with broadcasting or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that Breezy's boyfriend?
Nick.
Yeah, he's the guy who was talking about broadcasting and stuff. Look, if you guys do decide you want to go out there or whatever, or do decide that like you are gonna go, like, link up with us. We'll set up our own, you know, powwow area to branch out of and operate out of. You know, we'll set up our own little HQ spot. I have, you know, the whole fucking thing set up. So if you guys want to, link with me and definitely think about it.
Go ahead, guys, jump in if you want to unmute.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's just a matter of when to go down there. Sometime I heard Breezy saying the winter time.
I start my winter break on December 16th for school.
So I'd be down to go if you are, and yeah, we've got experience. You know, depending on what equipment we bring, you know, we might just have smartphones, or maybe we can bring a camcorder and put something together. It really depends.
Yeah, we were talking about not just like recording equipment, but also camping equipment, and if it's winter proof. And, you know, we have to think about that as well. They're not necessarily going to have housing or a hotel or like free power. So understanding that maybe if you have a solar charger, or if you have a tent that is a winter tent or something to that effect, you know, those resources are valuable as well.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of pooling and reaching out. There's a lot of ways to hack the, you know, like do like a weather hack and get around that. You can make tents and other things, you know, like I not like make a tent, but you can make a tent weatherproof. You know, like I've got some experience in a bunch of different areas. I will definitely show you guys what's up. Like, don't worry about the equipment too much when it comes to like camping stuff. Like, yeah, obviously we're going to need that, as long as we have like a medium thickness tent, you know, not like something super heavy, but have something in there. We can get around weatherproofing it. There's a lot of ways to keep things insulated. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, it's going to be like a lot of physical labor too. We're going to be chopping wood up, all kinds of stuff. I've thought about it all, and it's like,
another,
yeah, you know, like.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Kyle, like, I can tell, man. Warrior spirit calls. What I was going to say is just reading some of the comments in the chat, and thank you guys as well for commenting in the chat. Dave was just commenting, very obvious thing, keeping in mind that cars can also be used as generators. So if someone's got a vehicle, then like you can like charge your electronics like out of the car, and then that would almost be like one of your bases, is like using your car as a mobile charge point, because I think that would be an issue, is just like electricity only being available to certain so many people at so many times. But having a car would be one way to go about doing that as well. Guys, I did just want to check in. It's about 12:30 a.m. As it is right now. I'd like to wrap this up in the next half hour, so maybe about 15 more minutes of just kind of talking about this, and then we'll wrap up and even just do a small closing meditation as well. But Brianna, I just wanted to go back to you. Maybe you already mentioned it, but if you can just like reiterate. Are you involved with like planning events coming up in your community related to raising awareness for Standing Rock and such? And FYI, November 15th, they're calling that as like a global day for people to like organize events or anything. But yeah, maybe you can share what you're up to, and maybe even share some ideas that other people might be able to replicate, because people listening to this may be wondering, like, how can I help where I am if I can't go to Standing Rock? So anything you want to share on that?
All right, yeah. So me personally, I'm not organizing anything directly involved with No Dapple, but in Grand Rapids at Rosa Park Circle, so Grand Rapids, Michigan, Rosa Park Circle, there is going to be this Sunday at 1 p.m. a stand with Standing Rock. So people are going to be downtown Grand Rapids, literally at the heart of downtown, holding signs, probably doing chants and drum circles in order to raise awareness and just show solidarity. And how I found out about this was through Facebook, but then when I went to the NoDappleSolidarity.org website, click on the I think it just says like join in action. It says join in action, and you click on it, and then you enter in your zip code, and it'll pull up all the actions within your area. And even if there's not an action in your area, I'm pretty sure you can start one of your own and log it into the website, so that when people search their zip code, your action will pop up. I'm easy idea of just doing free hugs, standing in solidarity. So that's something I'm gonna look at my schedule and see when I have like 4 hours to dedicate to go downtown Kalamazoo, free hug sign, and just raise awareness that way. And so I encourage people to go to the website. I'm gonna just keep plugging this website all night, and look up join in action and type in your zip code and make one if you need to. If you can make it to the Grand Rapids one, that'd be great. But I know all of you are spread out all over the place, which is the unique part about Paradigm Shift.
Yeah, awesome, Brianna. Thank you. And again, for people, yeah, so NoDappleSolidarity.org is NoDapple, so NoDAPL solidarity.org. And yeah, I'm just on the site right now. I'm just kind of checking in, and like there is a solidarity event happening in Toronto. I'm just kind of like clicking on that, and that is actually on November 5th. So again, it's kind of interesting, because what we're actually seeing is that whereas in the past there almost would have been like million mass march events, now like people are kind of just like doing what the immediate thing is, which in this case is Standing Rock. Is this in support of Standing Rock as well? So yeah, definitely check out that website, guys, because I think that's like, again, not only an awesome way to find out what's happening in your area, but again, you can go to those events with the intention of meeting other people, of meeting other shifters, because those are some good connections that you could make that can also be like of assistance to other projects. Because I think there's a lot of people who care about this, and that's kind of what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of people who care. Not everyone's able to go there, and so like the different ways that we can help is pretty important. And of course, like through, I'm sure it's probably through the website. I just gotta double check. for the No Dapple Solidarity, that it would have like more information on donations and where they are going to be taking donations to as well. So I'm just kind of looking like support the camp. Yeah, so I think the NoDappleSolidarity.org is like the core website that you guys are going to want to use if you're looking to even send donations, because I know they have a few different donations that are kind of up and running if you were to just like Google Standing Rock donations and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, financial support is one way of doing it. But again, you know, even just by raising awareness of it, by sharing videos about it. Again, like sharing, there's that video, look up Standing Rock by Trevor Hall if you haven't seen that yet, because that song is pretty awesome. So you guys know what I'm talking about. Because if you are
It'll make you cry.
stand up like a mountain. Oh, oh, oh. Honestly, like, I know that song's like legit when I listen to it and I get like the activation sensations up the spine. Like straight up. Yeah, truth bombs. Let me just blast that through the speakers real quick for you guys, just to kind of like tune us into a little bit of what's actually happening. So 1 second, real quick, guys. Just put yourself on mute real quick. Michael, we'll get it passed over to you in a second. And here, just listen to this song real quick. So again, this is Standing Rock by Trevor Hall. Look this up on YouTube's and you'll find it there. So 1 second, here we go, guys. So I'm just gonna play this through my speakers. Okay, here we go.
This is happening. Warrior, warrior. If you are around, stand up like a mountain. Rise up from the earth, one love, one message. I know that we are strong in spirit, and if you are the righteous, hear it. If you are around, stand up like a mountain.
Awesome. All right. So again, that's just a little sample there. And oh my God, like guys, like seriously, if you haven't seen this video, go watch this video, because one of the most beautiful things about it is that you see the faces of the people are there, and what you see is like, if you're listening to this broadcast and you're like kind of interested in helping change the world, like you see us there, like you see like the core of what all of us are about, you know, like Earth Guardians, Light Guardians, call us what you will, but like it's such a, and what it says, like one love is like the message, one love, one message. And so I mean, like, yeah, like what is happening at Standing Rock is like such a very, very, again, microcosm of the macrocosm of our story. And it really is, you know, like if we're here to change the earth, like if we're here to like stand for Mother Earth, like this is what we need to do right here, right now. And I think again, it's just kind of like painting the bigger picture, is that like by allowing that pipeline to go through, like symbolically it represents something, but then like realistically is also like a huge risk, because those pipelines, they don't last forever, and it's only a matter of time until it explodes and you know, like things move down the line. But again, like if we can really just like get this story rolling and everything like that, then it's sending out a bigger message to you know, like politicians and to like other politicians. And I think that's like ultimately like what a big part of our future is about, is like really like holding our politicians accountable and just kind of like saying, you know, like this is what we want for our future, and you're going to listen because we are sharing our voice so loud. And so it's such a powerful message. So it's a huge shout out to everyone who, again, is like helping be a part of it. And you're helping be a part of it by being you, by being love. That is like a huge way of helping be a part of it. So just by bringing more conscious awareness into your everyday life. Okay, we're going to just pass it over to Michael. And then, like I said, guys, we're going to move into a closing meditation in the near future. Michael, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, I mean, it's really interesting. Everything you guys have been talking about, it's kind of like, I look at it and, I mean, it's not about that, but I do have like, you know, as I'm sure like a lot of people, you know, like some Native American ancestry and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, you wonder, you know, like, what's this going on for? You know, it's like the whole thing, you know, that quote, it says, you know, what you resist persists. But I mean, there seems to be big resistance there. So I mean, there's got to be like some type of guidelines that, you know, like certain things are important to certain people and should be respected, especially when, you know, it outweighs the needs of the few. So I think it's really interesting. Now I look at it, you know, I'm in college, you know, I'm probably not gonna find a way over to Standing Rock, but I look at ways as like I can help. But one of the things that I know is that there's videos of them, like, you know, I mean, horses being shot at, and there's videos, you know, people are being pepper sprayed and stuff like this. Now this was just something, an idea that just came to me. It's like, now of course, you know, not everybody feels the same way. Some people have more empathy or apathy than others, but it's like, if you were the person that's like, you know, pepper spraying these people or shooting the horses or something, you know, this is part of their story. This is something that they can share. This is something that they can videotape. You know, it's kind of like one of the things. Now they may be so invested in greed that they don't even see that, and it seems to be that's the case. But it's kind of like, the thing is like, you know, if you asked, say, like a higher power, if you will, or if you ask something, you know, higher than yourself, you know, what's the best way to approach this situation? That's kind of, you know, what I'm thinking of. And also I think that it really, if we are gonna, you know, make moves there, I think that there has to be a lot of strategy, you know, not just going in there just because you're angry, but like have a straight up plan of, like, you know, and a strategy as far as like how this is gonna work. You know, you have to be smart about it, you know. So,
yeah. And you know what? Like, I think the strategy that they are doing right now is consistent in terms of like them being non-violent water protectors. Like, if you notice, even the language that they're choosing, they're not calling themselves like protesters. They're not calling themselves like that. You know, they're calling themselves water protectors, because that is essentially like what it is that they are doing. And I think that like they've been doing a great job of like carrying this like non-violent resistance, and they've been using prayer ceremonies. Like, prayer has been like a part of like what they've been doing in this. And so again, like, let's not forget like how much even just like us sending our thoughts there, sending our well-being there, is one way of doing it, which is, again, you know, we've done global meditations about Standing Rock, and we'll include it into the meditation at the end here as well to sound some more love that way. But yeah, like I think what they are doing there is they have some good guidance there. You know, they have a lot of the elders there who are holding space, and I think this is I think what we're seeing here is actually very, very powerful in terms of like the Native Americans of America, of them like really being at the core of this story in a way that we are allowing that more people are being allowed to sort of like see what their message is. Because if you talk to the Native Americans, like at their core, they're always just, they have that spiritual connection. They are so much about like, this is about our connection to Mother Earth. Like, this is about our connection to the elements. This is about our connection to our ancestors. Like, that is very much consistent. So, I mean, by having them at this story, at the core of this story, not only is it giving them a spotlight that up until this point has like not really been on them when you think about it. Like, usually it's just like them kind of in like the unfortunate circumstances of another story. Yet here in this story, like they are like the center of it, yet they are the like also the quote unquote heroes of it. Yet it's in a way that it's not like them like as separate, yet it's them like with like the, you know, the call us like the white people or whatever we want. But I mean, it's all like in this story, like it's them leading the way to say like, come white men, like join us, for we are no different. We are one tribe. And so I think by having the Native Americans at the core of this is so powerful, because through the osmosis of it, people are being able to like take in their perspectives. And that is what the shift in consciousness is about, in terms of like all of us naturally waking up to that idea of being like, yes, like we are of the earth, we are connected, we are one, we are spiritual in nature in that sense, we are, you know, like sacred in that sense. So I feel that as this story continues, it's only going to continue to reach more people, and it's only going to continue to invite more people to connect with that spiritual perspective within themselves as well. Naturally, people everywhere, they're just like, I feel a connection to this because I know in my heart that this is like wrong to like degrade the earth and to da 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 da. So I mean, it's great because this event is a catalyst to bring together a global tribe. And I think that is, again, what we are seeing. We are seeing like the emergence of a global tribe, and it is being like led, is being like spearheaded by the Native Americans as a result of this story, which again, I think is a very beautiful thing. And again, that idea that like, it's not like no one's above anyone here. Like, we're all just one tribe, one family. And I think it's a very powerful, it's a very beautiful message that we're seeing being spelled out here. And I think, again, that once we see like the people on the other side of the lines, the police and the rally, like the, you know, like the corporations and stuff like that, keep holding space. Don't be like, oh, we hate you, we hate you, we hate you. Just like keep holding space in love and knowing that like they are transforming merely by being in the presence of this bigger story. It's inevitable. So keep holding love. Did anybody else want to jump in on this? Where, like I said, we're going to get close to wrapping up. Brianna, did you have anything to say? Well,
yeah.
then we'll pass it back to Michael. Go ahead, Brianna.
Real quick. There was a pipeline that exploded a couple weeks ago. So this issue is really real, and it's not something that, you know, people are like, oh, you're just worried about a what if. No, this is a real worry, and it's very real. And so I tentatively submitted dates to go to Standing Rock, because I think I'm going to make a commitment if you know, so if anybody wants to, the dates that I'm prepared to go are December 27th to January 3rd. So over the New Year's. I never really do anything special for New Year's. Last time I did something real special for New Year's, I spent it in London on December 21st and stuff. Yeah, that was really awesome.
2012.
Canada.
Has it been half a decade already?
Yeah, it's crazy. So if you guys want to spend New Year's, like, you can just kick in the new year by raising some consciousness. Yeah.
I also would just like to say it's so inspiring, this going on, because it's happening and the Native Americans have their land already. Like Occupy Wall Street, the occupiers were eventually able to be evicted, but they're literally like in their homes, so they can't go anywhere. Even if they build the pipeline, I feel like it will more than likely continue. So I feel like
There's like no way.
it's like nearly unstoppable, which is
The
awesome.
pipeline that exploded you were talking about, that was in PA. It happened right near us. Me and
Yeah,
Bryce.
that's what I was talking about.
Yo, by the way,
Exactly.
Bryce is in here. He's
Bryce is
actually
in here, yeah.
he's from Delaware too. He's in totally gonna have to be holding shit down for Paradigm Shift Delaware while I go do stuff in Colorado, bruh.
Yeah. Yo,
What's up, Bryce?
Bryce, feel free to jump in. We're going to be getting close to wrapping this up, but just inviting you to share your thoughts on like Standing Rock or what it means to you or anything else, just as a means to get involved. Go ahead.
I've been actually talking. I've been sending links to Kyle throughout this whole thing. Yeah, the pipeline broke and 6 million people's water supply is polluted. That's huge. I mean, that in itself is a humanitarian crisis. Then when you talk about Standing Rock, that's a very horrible humanitarian crisis. You have cops turning in their badges. You have cops crying. They're not wanting to be out there. And you have this poor old lady. She got maced like repeatedly while standing in this freezing cold water. And you're just like, why, dude? But something that I've been kind of freaked out about, and it's just because me and Kyle have we have the shit draw of the straw. Both we were both in the military, which means we're first to get drafted. And something that I want to point out that's not really being talked about is most people aren't talking about that Russia and our relationship is worse than the Cold War currently. Russia just developed a new nuclear missile. It's capable not only of reaching Texas but destroying. And as you know, the United Nations has obviously said don't use nuclear missiles. We have some, Russia has some, but now they developed this new thing. And then another thing to look at is Russia and China currently have an extremely strong relationship, and China just developed what's it called, the J-20 or some shit, and it's developed to combat our F-22s, which was designed originally to combat a Russian aircraft that was never developed. And we have two political candidates that out of 363 million people, we got those two. And no, I'm just bugging. That's what I was just freaking going on a rant about with Kyle. So just to let y'all know, but yeah, but Little Rock or Standing Rock is definitely is a very, very huge humanitarian view. And you're saying, like, you were talking earlier about Anonymous. You're not really hearing much about the Million Man March. Yeah, Anonymous isn't really playing nice with us right now for a lot of reasons, including the fact that WikiLeaks, his accountant was murdered and someone got caught breaking into his house. So Anonymous isn't exactly too happy with the United States government. We've had corruption get brought to the surface on a scale that wasn't ever talked about previously than this year, man. To be completely honest, I mean, if it has, it's always been in conspiracy talk, but this is like, it's there and it's known, and I don't know. But I think the people at Little Rock, they need to hold their ground, and people need to realize who's funding these projects. You talk about what was it, Wells Fargo, correct? Is that correct? Or Wells Fargo, right? The banking company where they're locking themselves in. TD Bank. I'm sorry. TD Bank.
How many times do I go to TD on Route 7 to pull out some cash? How often do I do that? Because that's my bank.
Oh, that's not mine. That's what
I've invested through them. Delaware. That makes me incredibly upset.
Well, I mean, that in itself, I think, will shift public opinion for them. And, as soon as people will stop supporting them. And you're talking about a business loss on a level that most businesses don't want. So, I hope people continue locking themselves in the bank and, just showing disfavor. I mean, that's what it's coming to, which is sad. I mean, it's sad that people are having to stand in cold water and get pepper sprayed, and cops are crying and knowing they don't want to do it. That in itself is truly freaking sad that we have gotten to that point as a human species. People are still thinking of themselves as separate instead of collective, because God knows what. But in brighter news,
yeah, dude,
Boeing and SpaceX are in a race to get to Mars. That's cool.
Like I was saying, like, it's okay to be
mad right now that a lot of people are. We're totally done with the way things like are in the world.
Definitely.
It's time for
Yeah.
something.
And again, like I think what we can do, like what's really important is to like be able to have a relationship with that anger in a way that it's not controlling us, but we're like actually like still in control of it. So just so that you're like not like in that sort of reactive mode, but still in responsive, like literally kind
Learn
of like
how to use
mindful.
anger just to motivate you.
Yeah, use it
You-
to drive
use it to
you, use it to
motivate.
create and stuff like that. Don't
Yeah.
let it blind you, because if you become blinded by the anger, then like that's what they want. Because that's when you become stupid, you know? Like when you become angry, you become stupid, and that's what they want. So don't become stupid. Like you can become angry, but then like use that. Like there's a way to be like angry and smart about it at the same time. Yeah.
Of course, I don't want to operate in a lower frequency. I mean, that would be the least of my choices. I was just, I don't know, just going on
Yeah.
a rant, I guess.
No worries. And then like, and I'm not saying to you guys personally, just literally a reminder for all of us, because I think it is like, yeah, with so much happening in the world. And again, you know, guys, like honestly, like with stuff going on with the elections, like without even having to like get too much into the politics, at the very least, like use it as a chance to kind of challenge yourself, because like if regardless of who's in White House, you can still like control your immediate reality, and you can still control like what thoughts you carry with you and like what actions you bring into your daily life, sort of thing. So just because like somebody else is sitting in office doesn't completely like change everything like in some like crazy way, in terms of like how a lot of people like that literally, you know, they're just like, oh, this is like affecting like absolutely everything. I mean, it is and it isn't in a bigger picture, like absolutely it matters and stuff like that. But like, is it going to stop you in like just like doing the everyday little things? Like maybe, probably not necessarily. So like you like, regardless, basically all I'm saying is regardless of who gets elected, keep doing your thing, you know, like keep like shifting paradigms, keep bringing more love into this world. Because I feel like that is like evidently what is needed. And that's where, you know, you can look at like the bigger shift in consciousness. Like if consciousness wrote this story for itself, like I said, usually like consciousness, like if it wants to do something, it's going to play the game on hard mode. So if you're feeling the pressure, that's because you're on hard mode right now. But if you're on hard mode, then like that's where the experience is gained. Like that's where you level up the most, because in retrospect, maybe there's a parallel reality of you and it's just like on easy mode, but like you're not getting the full experience. So like be grateful that we're playing, you know, in some ways on quote unquote hard mode in that sense. So yeah, Kyle's rocking it. Okay, guys, let's get close to wrapping this up in the next little bit, but we'll just pass the talk and stick around with like any last thoughts that people want to share. Just as a little quick reminder, just want to give you guys some heads up. So the next broadcast that we'll be doing for the Paradigm Shift Central project will actually be on a week from now. So that will be on November 10th, which will be next Thursday, and that will be a regular team building hangout. So similar to the admin hangout, this is a chance for us to be able to come together to practice talking. The team building hangouts are a little bit different specifically because it's really just an open-minded discussion meditation circle where people get to introduce themselves to the project, talk a little bit about what they're interested in, and the topics can kind of go wherever they need to in that sense. Whereas with these admin meetings, they're a little bit more focused towards, like I said, like the community-oriented things. And then after that, there'll be another team building hangout on November 17th and a dream class prior to that on November 15th. So dream classes every 2 weeks. And within that time period, there is a full moon. Though realistically, guys, I'm going to have to decide for myself if I'm going to put that full moon, if I'm going to do a global meditation broadcast for that or not. Only reason is because if I choose not to, then that may just open up some additional time for me to work on the Journey to Lucidity 3 movie, which I really want to do, which will be like equally as potent as a full moon thing down the road, even though it won't be ready for the full moon, so to speak. But yeah, that's just one thing where like, I just want you guys to understand that like the broadcasts are something that take time, and for every time that I'm like working on the broadcast, it's like also meaning that I can't necessarily work on other things. So by like alleviating myself from a broadcast, it like opens up chances for me to work on other stuff. As much as I wish I can work on everything at once, sometimes I just have to make choices on that. But stay tuned, because it may still happen. We may still have a full moon global meditation, because I really, really do enjoy doing those, and I know they're really important. But nonetheless, I just want to let you guys know that is on the radar. And then other than that, guys, just reminding people to sign up to the main Paradigm Shift Central website when they can, to create their shifter profile and to use the main website to create their quest journals, to practice documenting the shift where they are, and to be able to share their perspectives, their media, their videos, their ideas, their stories with the global community of paradigm shifters, and to be able to help archive it, to document it as part of our bigger shift in consciousness. And in addition to that, I just want to be able to invite people again to remind them about the team Patreon, and by signing up to support that for as little as $3 to $5 a month, gets them the Shifter Booster Kit, which comes with your shift buttons, which are sitting next to me here, and you got all your different designs, and each one has the Paradigm Shift Central website on them. We were talking about them earlier in the broadcast. And so you can sign up for $3 to $5, and when you do that, that gets you your Shifter Booster Kit, and is greatly appreciated because it helps support the ongoing time and broadcast of this community project, in addition to the ongoing evolution of it as well. And also being able to help support, like, essentially, as we evolve this, some of us being able to go to Standing Rock and being able to just like assist with some of the coverage of those costs as well, because I want to be able to like put some of that and allocate it towards supporting you guys to get there, because I do feel that with the seed planted, with the intention planted, some of us will get there, and it's just a matter of figuring out the logistics and all that. So if you want to join the team Patreon, and you're a really big fan of this project, and you like what it is, and you enjoy the ongoing free media that we provide for you guys, then you can check it out at patreon.com/Brendon Culliton, or just go anywhere on the main website and scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see a link for the monthly support squad, which is the team Patreon. And you can join there and help us work towards our next team milestone of 900 as soon as possible. That way, so we can get caught up to speed and work towards our next team milestone of 1,000, possibly, ideally, objectively, by the end of November, which will be what we'll be aiming for. So huge shout out to everyone signed up for the team Patreon. Really appreciate you guys adding your support there, and it makes a huge difference for the whole community. So in addition to that, Doctor Strange is officially out in theaters, so encouraging and inviting people to go see Doctor Strange. As we mentioned in the past, like, movies like that are a huge catalyst for being able to help shift consciousness, and a lot of people are going to see it, and they're going to be talking about multidimensional reality and dimensions. And so encouraging you guys to go see that as some spiritual juice, some spiritual inspiration. Let it inspire your visions and imagination, and let it be a catalyst to be able to talk to your friends about some metaphysical topics. In the same way that Standing Rock as well is a catalyst for people to be able to talk about like the bigger shift in consciousness and our connection to the earth and our unity and our oneness. So huge shout out to everyone for rocking it wherever they are. And stay tuned, because I'm going to do a full-length movie review, conscious movie review on Doctor Strange once I see it for myself, which will be at 11 a.m. So in like 10 hours from now, I'm going to go see Doctor Strange, which is why we're going to wrap up this broadcast, so I can go to sleep and go see Doctor Strange in the morning, and the story continues. So again, guys, subscribe if you haven't yet. If you're listening to this off of YouTube, on youtube.com/Skull Babylon, and subscribe to Paradigm Shift Radio on iTunes. And be sure to like this video on YouTube. That does make a difference. It tells YouTube that you enjoy watching the videos, and it helps send them out to more people. And of course, please feel free to share this broadcast and other broadcasts with your friends, and leave comments as well. And like Paradigm Shift Central on Facebook, facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Central. And simply commenting and liking on posts there does help, and even subscribe to the page to get notifications for it, so that you can be involved with all the awesome stuff that is coming through that news feed. So yeah, that's about it in terms of community news. And I did just want to remind people that you are invited and encouraged to help create a paradigm shift community where you are. And you can learn more through the main website under the learning modules, under the build a community aspect of it. And it's a very simple idea, like, find a place to have a meeting, organize it in terms of promoting it as an open-minded discussion meditation group. Invite people out, facilitate it. And again, if you want more info on facilitating, go back and check out previous community admin meetings as well. And yeah, if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. And a huge shout out to everyone shifting the paradigms. The little things do make the big difference. So let's just go around the talking stick one more time. For those of you who are here, any last messages that we want to send out to the people, and be about Standing Rock or anything else? And we'll start with Brianna, if she's good to jump into that. Brianna, do you want to just close us off here?
All right, all you high vibe humans, it's time to come together and it's time to raise our vibrations. We all need to take a deep breath, breathing in courage and exhaling unconditional love. So stay healthy, stay light, and don't give up the fight. Breezy out.
Awesome. And does Nick want to say anything?
Yeah, just keep standing strong, right? That's super corny. I don't have some clever sign off thought up, so
I'm the YouTuber.
Yeah, well, I'm working on it. Yeah, really. I don't know. More that I think about it. I think back to when Occupy Wall Street was going on. There was a team of independent journalists out there doing a live stream broadcast every single day from Occupy. And the main reasons why I was inspired and I ended up going out to Occupy Wall Street, seeing these broadcasts and then meeting them there was even more like, oh my God, like I saw you on the internet and now I'm here. Getting out there, broadcasting just in general and shift, I think would be awesome, having, the consciousness, raising consciousness and conscious community aspect to what's actually happening out there. So
Awesome.
Yeah, planting seeds.
Sweet. It's kind of cool to think about how in some ways like Occupy movement, Occupy Wall Street was in a lot of ways like kind of like preparing us for this, like, and a lot of people were just like, I guarantee you, like everyone at Standing Rock was probably majority were probably in some way involved with like Occupy movements. And that's where you get your media teams. And that's where you get your organization. And that's where you get people just like learning how to survive and standing up for the good fight. So yeah. And again, guys, just keeping in mind, like, yeah, like being like a guardian is I think like the word that for me like really resonates, because like that's like what you're doing. You're not standing there to like fight the police. Like you are standing there with like your message of love, and kind of going what Michael was saying before, this idea of like what you resist persists. In the same sense, like I don't think you have to think of like, depending on what story you want to say, I don't think you have to think of what is happening at Standing Rock as quote unquote resisting. Essentially what it is that rather than just thinking about like, oh, we're trying to resist the pipelines, yes, that is part of it, but more so like we are standing for love. That is the primary thing that we are doing. We are standing for love. We are standing for Mother Earth. And the pipelines just happen to be something that's like coming towards us. And that is what we're doing. We're standing strong, again, as guardians. And so, inviting everyone out there, be a shifter, be a guardian of what? That's for you to meditate on. A guardian of like environmentalism, a guardian of love, a guardian of free hugs, a guardian of community. So think about that. Okay, let's keep passing around. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Nick. Michael, go ahead. You got your hand up. Give us a little something to go out on.
I have my hand up. I've had my hand up long enough to send in Reiki at this point.
You only have to put it up once, man. Just, I see it. Go ahead.
But basically, I was gonna say, it's interesting. I haven't gotten to like where I've taken like real history in college, but as far as I know, it's like when I read in history and it's important to know that some tribes were nicer than others. I mean, they weren't all super welcoming, friendly, get along. Each tribe is different. There was, of course, the 5 civilized tribes. You know, it consists of the Hopi, the Cherokee, a bunch of others. But basically, I think this thing at Standing Rock, what I really like is that the Native Americans can see that, like, the descendants of, say, if you want to say Europeans or white people or whatever, you can see that the descendants are trying to say, you know, okay, I'm not part of, I may be a descendant of, you know, ancestors upon ancestors upon ancestors may have done something to upset your people. But I feel like this change at Standing Rock can see is that the white people today are not the white people of 1700 or 1400 or whatever. And I think even white people itself, I think it's like not even really, you know, I mean, people are people, humans are humans, you know. But I think the thing that's really interesting, though, is that whatever, as far as what I know, is when you read history, it says that when Christopher Columbus discovered America, thought he was in India or whatever, those people that he met, I think on the Bahamas or wherever it was, in 1492, these people were very welcoming to the white man, if you will, and thought that they were actually praised them, you know, thinking that they were, you know, I mean, was just very welcoming to the people. But you can see how, you know, I think that's where either, you know, maybe it needed to happen as far as for, you know, learning and growth. But I think that, you know, through all the things the Native Americans have been through and the Trail of Tears and all of that, with us, or with people supporting Standing Rock, or people showing report to these modern day Native Americans, I think we are really reconciling in a way, you know, where you know, say ancestors may have messed, you know, previous long time ago ancestors really effed it up, you know, for the Native Americans. So that's one of the things that I really do like, is I really do see a big, like, appreciation, I think, from the Native Americans, is I think they realize that, like, you know, these are not the white people or the Europeans of, you know, hundreds of years ago. I mean, we're on the same side kind of thing. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Hopefully not too long.
All right,
Everybody
looks
hear me?
like Brendon, I think he fell out for a second, but that's okay. We'll just wait
Yeah.
for him to get back in. But yeah, no, exactly, Michael, what you're saying, like, this is, yes, like, they recognize we're not, like, the same white people that came before us, you know what I mean? Like, and we do have an opportunity as, I guess, you know, like the majority class or whatever, to go out there and say, like, hey, this is wrong. We should be respecting these people's land, and, like, maybe we can go and sort of use our own way of speaking, and sort of, like, go out there and be like, hey, look, you know, like, we can organize, be, you know, be organized and nonviolent and come at you in, like, a professional way and stand and be like, no, we're not going to move You guys have to understand, like, you know, we're willing to negotiate, but you guys have to hear us out. You guys really have to respect what we have to say, because you can't come to us and expect to negotiate and then try and talk us all the way down to, like, yeah, well, you guys just have to get out of the way, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, like, then, you know, it's not going to be, oh, yeah, okay, you know, like, oh, wow, you're right. We're going to move out of the way, you know, plow right through. Like, no, that's not what's going to happen. But we have an opportunity to go out and be in there and say, like, hey, you know, this
Yeah,
is something that we're going to stand up
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
We're going to protect with these people, and like we have a chance to really communicate with them and project a message for these people, you know, maybe in a way that might be heard a little louder or a little bit more, you know, solidified, you know, because I don't know where, you know, all these misconceptions, like, those aren't the same native people. We're not, you know, like, I'm not, you know, like, I don't even like saying we, it's like, because, like, you know, like, people say white people, like, well, white people, like, European white people were shitheads, but like a lot of other white people were kind of just doing their own thing, not really involved in that, you know, with different cultures, you know, like, in everything. But yes, the matter of fact is, like, the majority has been attributed to looking a certain way or being tailored to a certain stereotype. And, like, we have a chance to bring that, like, stereotype down and say, like, let's get rid of stereotypes. Like, we are one race, humans on Earth. There's no reason for us to be any different, you know, in mindset. We shouldn't be harboring this hatred anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean, Michael?
yeah, totally. I mean, I think, but when I look at, and these aren't for all the cops, because I mean,
Well, I mean,
cops in general
I'm
aren't
not
like
sure
that.
why those police officers are out there, and they could be saying, like, you know, to protect,
But what I do see,
you know, the pipeline workers or something. But, like, let me get at something for a second. Why are the police there? Like, this is already land that they should not be cutting through. And, like, furthermore, they're trying to build over riverways that have not been recognized and granted in a legal court system. It hasn't been granted that they can cross those rivers. And they're still planning to do that. And, you know, it just brings, and like Bryce
they
had
don't
said
need
earlier,
tanks over there.
there's people, well, there's not tanks. They have
There's not
scary
tanks.
looking vehicles. Let me tell you something. A regular Humvee without any armor on it can look intimidating as fuck. And, like, they have, like, MRAP vehicles. Those are just troop carrying vehicles. Like, they might have, like, equipment. They've got riot gear and guns. Like, they're ready. It's like
But regardless, it's all police civilian gear.
Yeah, basically, it's all, like, civilian gear. You know what I mean? And another thing is, it's like,
military would be a
Hold on,
lot
guys.
worse.
You guys just
check
checking
it
in.
right. Yeah,
Am I good?
absolutely. Brendon's back, you guys. So,
All right, cool.
we were just running off the same thing that we had just left off of. So Michael was still doing his talking, and then I just kind of added on to that.
Columbus redemption speech.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, cool. I'm just double checking. It looks like I wasn't sure whether or not the feed would have been shut down, but it did not. So we're still good. So that's perfect. Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes the Illuminati just tries to hijack my mainframes. So these firewalls. All right, guys. Okay. Again, we're gonna get close to wrapping this up, but just any final points. Bryce, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, something I just wanted to say. I don't know if anyone's actually listening or anyone's out there, but guys, if you can hear this, like, try to talk to everyone you know and realize the fact that we are one people, we are the human race, and there's one truth that you can always look forward to, and that is that we have a limited time on this planet, and we've been not doing a good job with it. But what I can tell you is look towards SpaceX and Boeing currently. They are entered a race to get the first manned mission to Mars by 2024. They're picking people up from every profession. And the faster we come together, the faster we start recognizing ourselves as one species, the faster we get off this planet. And the limit that we can limit the amount of lives lost, if not completely eradicate it, to an extinction level event. And history has taught us, guys, we're on the verge of one. So if we could hurry this up and get everyone to shift consciousness as fast as possible, well, trust me, your kids or their kids will definitely thank you. And that, if anything out of everything that ever gets discussed gets through to you, that's the one thing that you really need to take away, that you are one freaking species and your survival depends on you dropping the crap between each other. I don't care if it's political dogma, religious dogma, whatever. Just drop it and learn to work with each other. I don't care if you don't like the next person next to you. Drop it and learn to work with them. That's all I have to say.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, man, you should come to Standing Rock with us.
There you go. Sweet. All right, guys. And yeah, like, again, like a huge part of this is like that awakening to our oneness, like so much. And then like out of that, it's just peeling back the layers of illusion that we've built up through the stories that we've been making over these years. But yeah, definitely, guys. So huge shout out to you guys. Huge shout out to everyone tuned into this. And yeah, this is, have no doubt about it, this is the most exciting time to be alive right now, especially since like that's kind of the thing with this paradigm shift, is that there is like a legitimate mission. Like there is always going to be this mission to help shift consciousness, to help change the world. Every day you wake up is another chance to help make this world a slightly different place. And again, going back to Standing Rock, a big part of it, of what they're teaching us, is the whole like 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. Don't just do it for you. Let's do it for our children's children, basically. And I think like that is like when you sort of like step into that place of like nobility and honor and like sort of doing it for altruistic reasons, the universe is just like, we got your back, bro. We got you. So the universe has got all our backs. So, because we are the universe. Sweet, guys. Okay, let's move into a closing meditation, unless somebody else had anything else. Kyle, did you already say your closing stuff?
No, but I totally will.
Yeah, go ahead.
If anybody wants to link with me about going to Standing Rock, definitely link up with me. Still don't have exactly a date to leave, but it is going to be soon, I believe. I think we might have 3 people going now. Still not sure about that. Link with me if you want to. And know thyself. Know thyself. That's it, basically.
Well, remember, if y'all do go in December, it's going to be cold, guys. Stay warm.
Yeah.
Bring jackets, blankets. Go to Sportsman's and Outdoors. Get your stuff for the right price.
Yeah, be prepared. Be prepared. That's a big part of the work, is like preparing. So, Michael, you had something to say? Is this a last point? Nothing too big?
No, that wasn't too long with the Christopher Columbus thing, was it?
No worries.
No, man, that was pretty.
And it's an important point. So.
Well, I was just
pretty good
curious
because
on
Brendon dropped out, so
on that.
we kept it rolling.
Good job, guys.
We kept it rolling while he dropped out. I've been trying to like do that because sometimes you drop out, and like sometimes when you do that, it can get very chaotic and people just start jumping in. So I try to do what I can to facilitate when you drop out.
I appreciate it. I know you guys can handle it. So Okay, go ahead, Michael.
I was just curious on the thoughts on that as far as on Christopher Columbus. I'm glad you said that, about hard mode, because I was like, that totally makes sense, But yeah, I was just curious on your thoughts on the thing I said about Christopher Columbus and that whole spiel.
No, that was pretty good, man. Like, I resonate with what you have to say about that, like, very well. Like, obviously we're not the same people as them, and the natives are not the same people as they were either.
I really looked at it as like rewriting the history books, because it's like
We have a chance to right now, man, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to sit around and continue to do nothing. We have a chance to do it.
I mean, there was
completely correct. You should never be happy with where you're at. So I think you should always continue to go out and use your energy to spread good.
With where you're at. You should be happy with where you're at. The fact
I was
that
curious,
so many people are not.
Well, in regards to not sitting still and not doing anything.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts
don't
on
be
the,
complacent.
Christopher Columbus?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. No, we're totally cool. He ended up being a really shitty guy, bro.
Yeah, I think kind of from what I caught with the Christopher Columbus stuff,
like 6 billion people. Like, not 6 billion. Not 6 billion by any means, but you get the gist.
Yeah. But yeah, like I feel it's interesting, even for the kind of like going back to the Christopher Columbus thing, and again we're wrapping this up in the next minute. But kind of like from the story of the quote unquote white man, which I feel is weird. I'm like, do I have to be a white guy? Like why do I need a label? Like, I mean, I guess I am by like just happenstance.
That's fucking hilarious.
But it's just like, it's like, can I opt out of that? But it's like, I know, it's just like, let's just all be people,
that's
right?
Fucking awesome.
We're all,
right?
we're all
Definitely.
We're all
my god, that's fucking awesome.
but
Never heard it stated better.
but I was just gonna say though, it's interesting because within the story of like the white person narrative, like right now, kind of what we're seeing through Standing Rock is kind of like us, not like redeeming ourselves, but kind of proving to ourselves that like we are not our past. And through that we have like the free will to like to say like, okay, like our great ancestors might have been douche nozzles, but like that's all the more reason for me to be like a better person. And so again, like history, sometimes we have to go through history in order to like know how to create a better future, sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, in all, again, from the bigger picture, like if you look at it, you can almost look at anything throughout history. You can be like, oh, like I understand why consciousness did that when you compare it to like what happened down the road as a result of it and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, like whereas historically white people, we have like a lot of quote unquote blood on our hands. This is like all the more reason for us to be able to be like, let's do something better, let's become something more, sort of thing. So and it's not just white people, it's everyone, and everyone's just kind of like, again, like our rallying point is love, as simple as that is, because that's as simple as it needs to be. Love is enough. So go team love, go team love,
go team love,
go team shift love, shifty love. Okay guys, all right, guys, let's move into a short closing meditation, if that's okay with you guys. That's good? Okay, cool. All right, so we're just going to do that real quick. Just as a side note, FYI, just because I didn't mention it earlier, if people are interested in getting some of the Paradigm Shifts shirts, such as like the Open Your Heart shirt, such as the one that I'm wearing, which has a flower life in the Open Your Heart shirt, and there's another one that's free hugs, another one that has a Paradigm Shift sigil on it that says choose to be the change you wish to see. You can find those through teespring.com/stores/Paradigm Shift Central, and take a look on the website in the next couple of days, because I'll like put up some like images on that will link it into more easier, so that way like at least 3 shirts at a time will always be available and accessible. And honestly, those are really more about just like getting you guys the shirts. They're not really there to like raise much crowdfunding money. It just like doesn't really work that way. They are literally more just there for you guys to get shirts. So if you want to get those shirts, then you can check that out, teespring.com/stores/Paradigm Paradigm Shift Central. I'll post a link for that into the show notes as well. And I mean, there are, if enough people order at a time, then there are enough funds that sort of like get generated out of it. And then again, if anything, that just goes towards like being able to support back end website costs and covering some of the basics as well. So everything gets moved around, everything's energy, and everything is greatly appreciated. So with that said, we're going to move into our closing meditation that we got going on here. And thank you again so much for everyone for tuning in. And so just inviting you guys to move into a place where you can do a short meditation. Okay. So let's just allow ourselves to get nice and comfortable. And this will be like a decently short meditation. There's a longer meditation that I did for Standing Rock that's on my YouTube channel if anyone wants to check that out as well. But in the meantime, let's just let us embody what it is that we've been talking about here for the last couple hours and continue to echo that out, branch that out into our everyday lives. So just inviting everyone to close their eyes. Just allow themselves to get into a place where they're going to be comfortable and relaxed. Into a place where they can move into that state of stillness. And in that place of stillness, we just allow ourselves to bring more attention to looking inside, to being aware of our breath, to our heartbeat, to this present moment. And so together, let us connect with the breath, with gentle inhales through the nose. Gentle exhales through the nose or the mouth. And just continue to breathe gentle inhales and exhales, becoming aware of your breath. Just allow yourself, before we can continue, to simply be in what we can think of as a moment of oneness, in just silence in your own space. So on the next breath, I'm just going to literally not talk for about 10 seconds and just be in that silence. So inhale and be there. So continuing to breathe, just even noticing in that silence, we allow ourselves to listen. Allow ourselves to listen to ourselves, to our connection, to the bigger story unfolding. And so as we breathe here, let us bring our attention to Standing Rock and to the world. And we're just going to do a quick global energy healing of the entire planet, of the waters, of the earths, the airs, the fires, of all the elements. Reminding ourselves that the separation between the elements is just another illusion. And so in this moment, imagine all of us floating above the atmosphere of the earth. And we look around and we see each other as points of light in the distance. And between us, there forms a geometric grid around the earth. And so imagining from where we are, just gently filling our palms with light. And even just putting our hands over top of our chest and literally doing this with your physical body now. And just put your hands on your chest and connecting with your heartbeat. And just allowing you to pour light into your own heart so that you can continue to reflect it back. So breathing here, using your imagination, seeing us floating above the earth, stars in the distance. Imagine holding your hands out in front of you. And as you breathe, you gently pour like water, like golden water, golden honey. You pour a channeling of love down into the earth, down onto the earth. And as we do this, let us imagine that love coming from the source of life itself within us. And we imagine the entire earth being covered in this golden light, this golden honey. And as we do, we allow that honey, that gold light, to be an extension of our love, an extension of our intentions. And we allow it to pour into the cracks wherever it is needed. And so we think about the people at Standing Rock and we send them our love. We send them our prayers. We send them our thoughts and our intentions. We send them our blessings. And we give them all the courage they need, all the courage that they already are, to be present for the story unfolding. And we send love to everyone at Standing Rock, including both the water protectors and those of the military, the law enforcement. Even if you choose to, if you're ready to, taking the step to even forgive them in your heart, to forgive the military, to be able to connect with the future in which we know that together we are all one. And that is through our forgiveness that we allow the healing, that we allow the growth to take place. So sending out love, sending out forgiveness, sending out compassion to wherever you want to send it. To Standing Rock, even into your own cities, your own towns, even into the offices of the corporate elite. As we do this meditation, we hack more love into the matrix through the power of intention in mind, through simply guiding it with our thoughts. And so visualize yourself still up above the earth, yet simultaneously in many places, healing, doing the grid work, knowing that this is something you can do beyond this meditation, even in your dreams, as an extension of this dream. And taking another look at the earth, seeing the gold light around it. And so in this moment, just gently connecting with your breath. And just inviting you to turn this part of the meditation into a chance for you to add in your own intentions, your own mantra, your own voice. And what we'll do is I'll simply begin by inviting us to either speak out loud without having to unmute your microphones. Just say it to yourself. You'll hear it. The earth will hear it. But what we're going to do, you can either say it out loud or say it in your thoughts. But you're saying it to the earth. You're saying it to consciousness. You're saying it to yourself. And what you're going to say is a series of I am affirmations. And I am and we are. By saying I am, you are saying we are. So, in fact, let us simply clarify by saying we are. And so I'm just going to begin, but inviting you to listen and to add in your own as we move through this. So connecting with the breath, imagining pouring our love into this earth, imagining that glow of the earth richening itself. that honey pouring itself into everywhere it needs to go. And as it does, we encode it with our intention. And so let us add the intention of what it is we are remembering. So breathe. Exhales. So we are love. We are compassion. We are kindness. We are humility. We are forgiveness. We are patience. We are resilience. And so I'm just going to go silent here, but continue in your own mind with your own additions to this affirmation. And just in this moment of oneness and silence, continue. We are ... Make your own mantra there. So just continue and breathe. Just a few more moments. Continue. So we are united. We are one. We are remembering. We are the past. We are the present. We are the future. We are the water. We are the earth. We are the elements. We are more than we will ever even realize. We are consciousness. We are the dream awakening to itself. So connect here, continuing to pour in any other mantras into this story, into this intention, into this grid. Allowing it to surface through all of us. Every day more people are awakening. And it is because of the collective vibrations that we are creating together. So let us continue to hold space. Let us continue to hold love as love for everyone, for all of us. It's all us. And so just breathe here. And then let us just finish by doing 3 gentle ohms. Yeah, even just being a soft ohm, not like a super deep ohm. Almost like a singing song ohm. Like you're gently singing a lullaby to the earth. And so we'll try this together. And we'll gently begin with an inhale, exhale, and then on the next one, we'll do an ohm. So breathe here gently. And exhale, relax. And breathe in, and then ohm together. Just take another breath here, and then for the next one, inviting you to just shift through octaves to add a song to your ohm. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So on the next exhale, when you're ready, ohm. So big inhale. And ohm. Oh. Next breath, inhale. Again. We'll do a couple more. Inhale. Again. One more. One more for good luck. Soft, gentle. And then from here, you gently imagine yourself as you observe the earth. You see it shine, you see it glow, you see the crystal at the heart of it. Bringing yourself down, floating down in your body, your light body vehicle, down back to where you are, pouring any extra love into your community as you bring yourself gently back to where your physical body is, knowing that you can return to this style of meditation in your own imagination. And gently, as you bring yourself back into alignment with your body, feeling the extra glow in the air and the atmosphere, being able to sense it as you exist and breathe and live beyond this moment. So connecting with the breath, connecting with the heart, and slowly, when you're ready, carrying the courage, carrying the love in your heart, knowing that this bigger story is one that we are all a part of. Gently bring your awareness back to your physical body and wake yourself up to this moment with more inspiration, more courage, more love to choose to be the change that you wish to see, to choose to be the love that you are. And breathe and gently, when you're ready, bring yourself back and wiggle your toes and your fingers and open your eyes. Return your awareness to the space around you. So listen up, my friends. This is happening. Warriors, warriors. And if you are rock, stand up like a mountain. Aho, aho, aho. Rise up from the earth. One love, one message. Aho, aho, aho. Aho. And gently bring yourself back, guys, when you're ready. Good job, team. And wipe away any tears that might have come up during that broadcast. That's a good sign. Awesome. So thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this in bigger ways than you may even know in this moment. planting those seeds, being those trees. Much love, much love. So very cool.
Just did a
very
lot of
cool.
Reiki.
Yes, Reiki to the earth. She's given so much to us. Let us give back. So very cool, very cool. Awesome, guys. All right, guys. With that said, again, huge shout out to everyone tuned into this. In the future, you guys are as much a part of the team as everyone who's been talking in this broadcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. And thank you for bringing more of the shift with you. That is essentially your mission, to bring the shift with you in whatever way that means to you. So much love. We'll just open up the talking stick just as a, again, final wrap up, but just curious, how was that meditation for you guys? Always interested to hear if anybody had anything they wanted to share on that as well. And so Brianna and Nick, you guys were good with that? Yeah. Cool. Kyle's good. Everyone's pretty quiet.
Yeah, that was wild, man. That was crazy, man. That was
Cool, man.
wild,
Cool.
dude. That was a good one. I was like,
good little meditation. We're getting better at them, I think, man. The more we do them, like the more powerful they get, and it's kind of like dropping in and going there, you know?
dude, that one had me going, man.
I was feeling it.
Got
I had
the
some.
ball in my eyeballs.
You were crying during that one, Kyle.
Fuck yeah, man. That
Fuck
shit
yeah,
was
man.
so, like,
Awesome,
I don't know,
dude.
I'm just feeling what's happening so
You're
like,
That's such an important thing though, man. Like to be able to like empathetically connect with what's going on right now. Like that's a very powerful thing. So that's a good thing, man. So I honor you in sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome.
fucking ridiculous, dude.
Dude, man. So like those tears are like
dude.
tears of transformation, man. Motivation. So no, I hear you, man. I hear you.
You should try to make them a little longer, man. Like I was starting to have an out of body, and by the time we started oming, man, I came right back, and I was like, "No, come on,
true.
too short."
Yeah, that was just
huge piece of
micro.
metal in my eyeball. I just pulled it out when I was crying. That's really good.
You okay?
It's good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Brianna,
yeah. Nick,
went so deep.
Cool. Brianna went deep. Is that she's good?
Yeah,
she's like lying on the couch or something.
She fell asleep, and I think she
fell.
cried.
Oh.
She might be a little bit awake.
A bit of both. So.
But good job. It was very effective.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you too.
It's a good
Man,
sign.
that was intense. That one was
sign.
really intense. I like that one.
Yeah,
That was
that's one of like I'll say my superpower, but it's really anybody's superpower. One of our superpowers is like making people cry by like inviting them to be in that space where they can cry. And that's like a very, very like important thing, you know, just by like creating a space where people can like feel safe to cry, because that's, like, that I think that's what a lot of the earth is doing right now. You know, the earth is crying, but through that is like the healing and the transmutation. So
yeah, man, I do gotta tell you, when you were doing the we ars, me and you both said united at the same time. I'm mic on mute, but I said united, and I followed the second one and the third one. It was just like, oh my god, dude, word. I had on yet.
Yeah, and I totally anticipated that happening. It was kind of like a mini psychic bridge test at the same time. I knew that. So but I'm glad to hear. Thank you for sharing that, Bryce. So sweet. Okay, guys. Is there anything else anybody want to mention, just related to either the meditation or anything else? But I think we've accomplished a lot in this broadcast. So again, just thanking you guys for being here as well. Michael?
I was just gonna say, yeah, that was a really good meditation. I mean, like, people can say whether they believe in Reiki or not, but my hands felt like they were on fire in a good way. But, you know, it is interesting, you know, because it's like, the thing is, I'd want to go to Standing Rock, but probably not going to get the chance to, but I'm wondering, you know, is there ways that we can help, you know, in our own way, you know, if we can't physically be there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you know, kind of what we were recap on what we were talking about, encouraging people to connect to that website, the nodapplesolidarity.org, I think is one of the great places to start. So some of the ways that you can help are, you know, through direct donations, but also there's like a list of phone numbers that you can call. You can call like local, like, you know, politicians, local, like municipal, like governments, and just like even military. There's lots of places you can call, and I know some people have actually done that. And again, like that's like their form of being able to like say, you know, cast a vote with their voice to say like, hey, this is what I don't want because this is what I do want. And again, you know, like organizing events in communities, if there are events happening in your communities, attending them. So Michael and anybody else, I would encourage you to go to the No Dapple website, nodapplesolidarity.org, check what events might be near you and go there and connect, and, you know, like bring a free hug sign, connect with people. I'd love to see some free hug signs like on the front lines of the protests. I haven't yet, and that maybe there have been some, but I think
They'll probably change the whole game.
One of my missions actually do free hugs on the front lines. That's totally a huge thing of like going out there and like being with other paradigm shifters.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, like, I know Jamie's probably still listening right now, so like, yeah, we're gonna do free hugs on the front line.
And again, man, like, and it's not like it's a unique idea, but for whatever reason, I haven't seen it yet on the media. So maybe they're just waiting for the shifters to get there, and maybe, you know, like that's part of our role is to like literally be the group of people that will intentionally show up there with free hugs or something. Because again, it's as simple as it is. It could be because you know what, like as crazy as this is, and just planting the seed, but like let's say Kyle, that like you're there, other people are there, and you're holding free hugs on the front line, and a cop actually like steps out and hugs you, and then somebody films it and takes a picture of it. That's a very powerful image. And so, I mean, in that sense, like that's a very powerful story that could ripple out of a simple event like that. So yeah, you know, if anybody listening to this is at like Standing Rock, like, or planning on going, bring a free hug sign, and just, I think that in itself is a big transformation. Because again, you know, like that's like the message that you're putting out there is to say like, hey, like you may be on the other side of this line, but I don't hate you. I hate what it is that we are experiencing, but I don't hate you. I still love you. And I think like when we really, really start standing in love in the face of chaos, like that's how we alchemize. You know, it's that very simple idea of just like, that is what alchemy is, a social alchemist, a shifter. That is what we do, where we will like transmute fear into love. And I think there's a lot of fear there that is being transmuted. And so huge shout outs to everyone holding their space, holding their, you know, standing strong with their hearts open at Standing Rock. It's really amazing. So it's an honor to be like here on earth to like see this unfolding. So 2017 is going to be a very important year, guys, as is every year, but let's make the most of it. So very much so. Okay, guys. With that said, I think we're just about ready to wrap this up. It's about 2 a.m. right now. So this broadcast was almost 4 hours, give or take. And thank you again to everyone for tuning into this. As always, please feel free to share this with your friends. Invite them to connect with the Paradigm Shift community. Create your Shifter profile on the main website. Sign up for the team Patreon when you can to add your support and to be able to help support ongoing evolution and broadcasts within the project. And again, go to nodapplesolidarity.org for more information on how to support Standing Rock where you are, and tune in again for future broadcasts, and go see Dr. Strange. So, and keep bringing the shift with you where you are. So with that said, guys, we are ready to wrap up this broadcast, and I'm just going to invite you guys to join me in saying farewell to the people watching this on the internet. So for everybody watching this on the internet, we love you guys. We love you. Leave your comments on YouTube, like this video, and connect with each other through the comments. So guys, let's see.
Special guest.
And Yoda's dropping in. This is the final farewell. Make pipelines, you must not. Make love, you should. So, okay, guys. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You can.
I can't remember. I started singing now.
Code Yoda. So again, guys,
Kyle,
to ask,
check
what
this
would
crap.
Yoda do?
what would Yoda do? So that's right.
Kyle, check this because you know about this
Oh
one.
yeah, Freya.
Oh,
Hey.
doggies.
She's
Oh,
not there.
She's like,
puppies.
she's getting to 25 pounds and just put paws in my face.
Puppies.
So
Puppies. Do it for the
Sounds
puppies.
like a Siberian
Aw.
Husky.
Wolf tribe. Little,
yeah, full bred Siberian Husky. In fact,
little bonus wolf in the action there. I like it.
Oh wow.
Sweet. For people listening to the audio,
Wolf
Bryce has got
medicine.
a adorable little wolf with him. So
Maybe
blessings
get
from
down
the
with
Wolf
mess.
Master. Thank you, Wolf Master, for blessing us with your presence. So
not a problem.
Wolf.
Freya, say goodnight because you were knocked. Freya, want to say goodnight?
Oh.
No.
I
want to be it.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Say what's up? No.
That's cute.
Yeah, she's knocked, so that's about it on her.
Remember the teachings of the wolf. We only live forever. So one tribe, one heart, one family, one message, one love. Okay, guys, with that said, let's wrap up this broadcast. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So let's hear it. Make some wolf noise and say goodnight to all the people out there listening on the internet. We love you guys. Keep it shifty.
Good night, guys.
All right, guys.
That's gonna wake my dog up.
No.
Yeah, now she's howling. Yeah, all right, until next time, guys. Keep it shifty. This broadcast is over. Stay tuned for the next one. And as always, we shall see you guys in the future. Find me at Skull Babylon on YouTube and Facebook. And until next time, peace. One love. See you guys.
May the force be with you.
Thank you. Here we go. Be a rock. Be a mountain. One love.